let's roll. Mr. Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Van Johnson.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem and District 5 Alderwoman Dr. Estella Edwards Shabazz.
Present.
Chairman and District 4 Alderman Nick Palumbo.
Present.
Vice Chair and District 3 Alderwoman Linda Wilder Bryan.
Ready, let's go.
Post 1 Alderwoman Carolyn H. Bell. Post 2 Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely.
Present.
District 1 Alderwoman Bernetta B. Lanier.
Present.
District 2 Alderman Dietrich Leggett.
Here.
And District 6 Alderman Curtis Pertee.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. All rise. I call this meeting of the Savannah City Council to order. Today is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. The time is 2:06 p.m. We want to thank everyone for joining us within our chambers and throughout our various digital platforms. As we are fond of saying here, Savannah will be a safe, environmentally healthy, and economically thriving community for all. And for us, all means all. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our invocator for this afternoon. He's so new that he's only been here less than 2 weeks. The Reverend Dr. Andrew Harmon recently began his ministry as the 42nd rector of Christ Church Episcopal. Prior to coming to Savannah, Father Drew served as the senior associate rector at St. James Episcopal Church in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where he provided strategic oversight of parish ministries, programming, and staff. A native of Baton Rouge, Father Drew is a graduate of Millsaps College. He earned master's degrees in divinity and ethics from Princeton Theological Seminary and completed a PhD in historical theology at Marquette University. In addition to parish ministry, he has served in university ministries, retirement community chaplaincy, and as an undergraduate theology instructor. While at Princeton, Father Drew met his wife Anna, an elementary educator who also holds a Master in Divinity degree, and they have 3 daughters. Father Drew, welcome to Savannah. We're glad that you are here in the greatest city on earth. We're better than Baton Rouge, we'll just say that. But we're glad you're a part of our city. Welcome.
Almighty God, whose wisdom orders all things and who holds in care the affairs of nations and cities. We give you thanks for this city of Savannah. Live and work within it. Bless, we pray, those who have been entrusted with the work of governance, members of this council, Mayor Johnson, and all public servants, that they may act with integrity, patience, and courage, seeking not their own good, but the common good of all. Grant them wisdom in their deliberations, clarity in discernment, the spirit of mutual respect, even in disagreement. Where there is division, O God, so understanding. Where there is weariness, ask in the name of the one who calls us to love our neighbors and to seek the welfare of the communities we serve.
Amen. Thank you. Let us honor our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much. You may be seated. Father Drew, again, welcome to Savannah. We're glad that you're here, and thank you for gracing us this afternoon. We will go ahead and move toward our agenda. And
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
good afternoon. The first item is adoption of the regular meeting agenda for January the 2nd, 2026. It's been requested that we, Alderman Leggett, help me.
The item, which is
Okay,
2512 Hampton Street Hotel, item number 15,
okay.
asking that that item be moved to the next council meeting.
So it'll be continued, date certain to the next council date. Mr. Clerk, what date is that? February 12th. And so,
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, and also wanted to make mention that we do have
okay.
so that we can get to a better pathway of resolving a lot of
Okay, I'm in support of that. I will entertain a motion
Mr. Mayor,
for that item, yes.
I'd like to make a motion for the adoption of the regular agenda meeting for January 22nd, 20...
No, we're talking about the item number 15 to
Yes,
move
sir.
that.
I'd like to make a motion that we...
Make your motion.
That we continue item number
continue this
15.
item to our next city council meeting, date certain, February the 11th, 2026.
February 12th.
February
There's a
12th.
second.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we continue item number 15 to February the 12th. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor?
Now we'll go to the regular meeting.
Yes, sir. I'd like
Yes.
to make a motion for the regular meeting agenda for January 22nd, 2026.
So moved.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mr.
Item
Mayor?
number 2, yes.
I'd like to make a motion for items number 2 and 3 for the approval of the minutes of the work session and city manager's briefing held on January 8th, 2026 at 12:30 p.m. and for the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on January 8th, 2026 at 2:00 p.m.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4 is an appearance and recognition of the Savannah Book Festival. As we know, the Savannah Book Festival is a cherished event happening in Savannah every year. So, hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Good.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to share a brief update on one of Savannah's signature cultural events. I'm pleased to announce that the Savannah Book Festival will take place February 5th through the 8th in historic downtown Savannah. Every year, residents and visitors enjoy the festival, which is one of the country's leading literary events and features world-renowned authors from across the nation who engage with our community through conversation, storytelling, and the shared love of books. During festival weekend, the Savannah Book Festival sends over 20 of our visiting authors into local middle and high schools across Chatham County. There, they speak directly with the students about the life of a writer, the creative process, and the power of reading and storytelling. These visits leave a lasting impression, inspiring students to imagine new possibilities for their own futures. Through the City of Savannah Cultural Arts Commission ACE grant, we are blessed to be able to provide copies of the author's books for the students. The personalization and the signing of the books is a very special experience for the students. On Festival Saturday, we will host more than 35 events that are free and open to the public, providing attendees with access to these nationally recognized authors and thought-provoking discussions. These events are designed to be accessible and inclusive, reinforcing our mission to celebrate literature and learning for everyone. This year's festival will also feature 3 exciting headliner events: our opening address with beloved Southern writer Sean Dietrich, a keynote address featuring internationally recognized thriller writers Brad Thor and Ward Larson, and a closing address on Sunday with Leigh Bardugo, a historical fantasy phenomenon whose work has captivated readers around the world, and her Grissaverse book is now a Netflix original series. On behalf of the Savannah Book Festival, I would like to sincerely thank the City of Savannah for the incredible support that makes this event possible. The festival is truly a gift, one that reflects Savannah's deep commitment to education, literacy, and the arts. Thank you, and we hope to see you downtown February 5th through the 8th.
So we've all heard that, right? We're all going to support the Savannah Book Festival. We know books are still very necessary and very needed, and so thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us. Now we are celebrating the 100th birthday of our beloved Economic Development Authority that does not look a day over 99. We're going to ask the Savannah Economic Development Authority to come up. I have a proclamation that reads as follows. Whereas the Second Savannah Economic Development Authority, SEDA, proudly marks 100 years of service, advancing economic opportunity, industrial growth, and regional prosperity for the city of Savannah, Chatham County, and the greater Savannah region. And whereas the foundation of SEDA was laid through the early establishment of the Savannah Port Authority, created to foster industrial growth and make long-range plans for the coordination of commerce, industry, and traffic within its territorial limits, setting the framework for modern economic development in coastal Georgia. And whereas in 1951, the organization evolved into the Savannah District Authority, gaining additional tools authorized by the General Assembly of Georgia, including the ability to issue revenue bonds and offer tax abatements, while remaining steadfastly committed to promoting industrial growth and expansion for the public good without profit and without creating debt for the state of Georgia, Chatham County, or the city of Savannah. And whereas this organization is now known as the Savannah Economic Development Authority and has expanded its mission to focus broadly on job creation, business attraction, business retention, investment, and regional competitiveness, continually reinvesting all realized funds into the long-term development of industry, commerce, infrastructure, and coordinated planning. And through strong regional partnerships, including collaborative efforts along the Savannah Harbor Interstate 16 corridor, SEDA has played a pivotal role in attracting transformative projects that have strengthened the regional economy and created thousands of high-paying jobs. And whereas SEDA provides oversight and strategic direction for the World Trade Center Savannah, fostering international trade, global connections, and export opportunities for local businesses, while reinforcing Savannah as a globally competitive destination for innovation and investment. And whereas for a century, SEDA has remained unwavering in its clear and enduring mission to help create, grow, and attract new job opportunities and investment in the Savannah region, strengthening economic mobility, community resilience, and shared prosperity for generations of Savannahans. Now, therefore, I, Van R. Johnson II, Mayor of the City of Savannah, do hereby recognize and commend the Savannah Economic Development Authority on the occasion of its 100th anniversary and express sincere gratitude of the City of Savannah for its visionary leadership, lasting impact, and continued commitment to economic growth and prosperity, again, for all. In witness whereof I've set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Savannah to be affixed. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all you do for us in front of the scenes and behind the scenes, and thank you for always keeping it 100. Thank you. Thank you. Madam Chair, Chair, who wants to make comments?
Thank you very much. My name is Trip Tollison, and I work at the Development Authority with all these great people. I'd like to recognize our new chair, Cal Patel. Of course, we have Kay Ford, past chair. Oh, yep. We have our vice chair, Joyce Roche, and our new secretary treasurer, by mistake, Scott Center. And then, of course, we have a fantastic staff. I won't call them by name if the staff could raise their hand.
Call the names, go ahead.
All right, we got Angela, Anna, we got Caleb, we got Lee, and we got Jesse. So thank you all, staff. We have the best staff in the business, so thank you very, very much. Second best. I do want to say one thing that's really important. We cannot do what we do without y'all's partnership, and I mean that 100%. We drive your staff absolutely crazy. In a good way, especially with all the growth that's going on. I see Ron, Water and Sewer, we're on the phone constantly with him. We drive the city manager's office crazy. By the way, Father Drew, I encourage you to get to know city manager. Y'all both can talk about the shady deal with Lane Kiffin at LSU, but that's okay, all right? We can watch that and enjoy that. But thank you again. This is a great, great partnership that we have, and we're very excited to be honored today. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for what you do. Thank you. I'm quite appreciative. And here celebrating another birthday this year, we're going to ask WSAV TV on your side to come up by my side. Hey, how are you? Good, how you doing? Hey, sure you can. You're gonna do the news, right? Hey, sweetie.
How you doing? Good to see you. All right, good.
Everybody here, who reporting the news?
Oh, hey. Nice to see you. Doing all right? Yes, sir.
Ma'am.
Well, who's running the station? I mean, everybody's coming. We'll fit y'all on. It's fine. Thank you. It's not every day you turn 70, so we'll celebrate. Proclamation reads as follows. Whereas WSAV TV first signed on the air on February the 1st, 1956, and for 70 years has faithfully served the people of Savannah, the Coastal Empire, and the South Carolina Lowcountry with trusted local and regional news, reliable and accurate weather coverage, local sports, and quality entertainment. And whereas through its distinguished history, WSAV TV has earned a reputation for journalistic excellence through its commitment to its hallmark on-your-side reporting, serving as a watchdog for the public, a voice for the voiceless, and an advocate for truth, transparency, and fairness. And whereas WSAV TV has consistently been recognized for superior journalism, receiving national and regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, along with dozens of Georgia Association of Broadcasters honors and regional Emmy Awards, reflecting the professionalism, integrity, and dedication of its journalists and staff. And whereas beyond its vital role of informing the public, WSAV has also been an important contributor to Savannah's business and economic ecosystem, supporting hundreds of local businesses through advertising and marketing services that have helped them grow and prosper, thereby strengthening the regional economy. And whereas from its studios on historic Victory Drive in Savannah, WSAV TV operates a robust news operation with 5 bureaus across Georgia and South Carolina, including Atlanta, Statesboro, Columbia, and Bluffton, as well as a Capitol Bureau in Washington, D.C., ensuring comprehensive coverage of issues impacting the region locally, statewide, and nationally. And whereas for 7 decades, WSAV TV has been more than a television station, it has been a trusted community partner, a civic institution, and a constant presence in the lives of generations of Savannah residents. Now, therefore, I, Van R. Johnson II, Mayor of the City of Savannah, do hereby recognize, commend, and congratulate WSAV TV on the occasion of its 70th anniversary and extend the gratitude and appreciation of the city for its enduring service, journalistic excellence, and unwavering commitment to our community. We wish WSAV TV continued success and many more years of impactful reporting, community leadership, and service to the people of the Coastal Empire and Low Country. In witness whereof I've set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Savannah to be affixed on this day. Happy birthday and congratulations. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Hart. I'm the general manager at WSAV, and I've got a great group with me today. There's a lot of familiar faces. You know, of course, Tina Shaw, Ben Singer, who anchor our evening newscast. Kim Gusby, who's a legend as well, our chief meteorologist. Scott Roberts. Joey Lamar's here. Ben Catco, another one of our anchors. I think our entire sales team is here as well. So we were very proud to have a big turnout today. We're humbled by this resolution. It's really remarkable, but it does encapsulate what we've tried to be from the day we signed on the air. Our first transmitter was on Broughton Street on the Liberty National Bank building. February 1st, 1956, it signed on the air, and we've always been a part of Savannah since we started transmitting our signal, and today we're excited to continue that. So again, to the entire council, the mayor, everybody in the city of Savannah, we very much appreciate this recognition, and we promise you that we're just getting started. The future's bright, and we continue to plan on being a great community partner and looking out for the people of Savannah, the Coastal Empire, and the Low Country. So again, thank you all very, very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
it was said up here on the dais, since all of you are here, who is running the station? So with one who is so tuned in, what you have here are those who come on at 4:30 in the morning, and then those who come on at 9 o'clock, and those who come in at the 11 o'clock newscast. So that's how in tune I am with WSAV. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
Yeah, and in the 3rd district too. Woo-hoo!
That's right. I think we're really fortunate that we have so many, I know in other markets, people come and they go. Here, they come and they stay. And I think that's been a really good part. These two ladies on both sides of me, 30 years apiece, right?
Right, yeah, my goodness.
34 in April, 33. So, I mean, together older than I am. So, but we appreciate all. Now, who's over the weather?
Scott.
Now, Scott, it was 20 degrees last week. It's 71 degrees, and then there's a freezing advisory. We have to get better at this.
I think you did a pretty good job giving the forecast earlier this week.
It's crazy, but we appreciate all of you, and certainly we know none of this happens unless the sales folks are doing your job, so thank you so much for what you do. We're all together because WSAV has Savannah in it, so we're all in this together. So congratulations, and best wishes to 70 more. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Happy birthday, happy birthday. All right, all right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yes.
And the longest boo romance together. Thank you all. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Go Ben.
You have some ice tomorrow? No, we're in good shape. Okay, we're in good shape. All right, we're officially in good shape tomorrow for weather. I had to get that, so. That's right, the official word. Everybody know the bridge, right? All right.
Yes.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you. As you also know, for our community, human trafficking is a big concern in Savannah because of its proximity, because of its assets. We are an attractive place for human trafficking, and the city of Savannah has been actively engaged with the Savannah Interagency Diversity Council to deal with issues of human trafficking, not only on the sex side, but also on the labor side. So we have our SIDC here. Y'all come on up, and glad to have you. And Traffic Jam is coming up this weekend that I'll be able to attend now that something else has been canceled.
Well.
Let's see, sir. All right, good. So y'all come on up. Come on closer. Come on closer. Come on. Come on.
First of all, I want to say good evening. My name is Bill Geddes. I'm the chairman of Savannah Interagency Diversity Council, and we're getting ready to hold our 11th annual Savannah Traffic Jam starting tomorrow. Law enforcement training, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on Saturday, the general public conference from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Conference will be held at Savannah State University Student Union, and we definitely welcome you all if you're available to come. Human trafficking is a big problem in Savannah, and we want to continue to provide awareness to our citizens, not only Savannah, but the surrounding areas, that it is a problem, and we need everyone involved so we can keep Savannah, our residents, safe. On Friday, there will be law enforcement only training, great training, and it's being coordinated by law enforcement training coordinator, Ms. Dan McLeod, attorney, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and she's also an SIDC member. I'll let her come and give a few comments on about what you want to talk about that training.
Good afternoon, members of council. My name is Diane McLeod. I am also a member of the Savannah Interagency Diversity Council. Thank you for having us here today. We are looking for a weekend where we will do a lot of training within the law enforcement community, but also the community at large. We kick off in the morning with law enforcement only, and this year we are looking to give tools that officers can actually take back to their departments and implement immediately. So we will talk about agencies and sites based within the state that they can utilize free of charge, which in this economy, everybody's looking at dollars and cents. So we will have someone come and talk about the Statistical Analysis Center, which is located in Georgia, that tracks and trends human trafficking within in the various areas of the state. We will also have agents who will come and talk to the local officers and agencies about doing demand reduction operations. We know that in the human trafficking arena, the buyers push the traffic. If we didn't have buyers, we wouldn't have human trafficking. So it's very important for local communities and local law enforcement to understand how to effectively implement demand reduction operations. And so we will have agents who will come down, talk to the local officers who come to the training tomorrow on how to implement the best practices when it comes to implementing demand reduction operations. And then Saturday, we expect to have a very robust day for the community with a law enforcement panel talking about trends going on within human trafficking, not only within the state, within the nation, as well as the local community. And we will also have our NGOs, our non-government organizations, victim services providers who will talk about their needs and how the community can help in the fight against human trafficking. I invite all of you to come on Saturday, join us. I invite our local law enforcement to come tomorrow, join us. And for a lot of them, the thing that gets them, you get post credits. If you come in the morning, you get 3 hours of post credits. So please sign up local law enforcement, and then for the community at large, come on Saturday. We look forward to seeing you, and we thank you for being a great partner with this effort in our community. Thank you.
We are very appreciative of the city's continuing efforts to make sure all of our citizens are safe, and this is a way to do it. We're very glad that Dr. Takesha Brown is a member, so she really needs no introduction. But we want to make sure everyone else introduces themselves and their affiliations.
My name is Alicia Brown. I'm a retired Master Sergeant from the United States Army, and I've joined the group because I was an MP when I was in the military, so it keeps me going and doing the things that I can do for my community.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, City Council. My name is Joseph Smith. I'm a member of the SIDC, I have a background in the military, and I'm just excited to be a part of this organization. As much as it's a pain point to discuss, human trafficking is not inevitable, but it is preventable. So that's what we're doing here, partnering with the city, and so we appreciate your help. Looking forward to seeing you guys on Friday and Saturday. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, thank you so much for having us. My name is Kate Gallup. I'm the outreach coordinator at Theros Place, and if you know, we are a shelter for survivors of human trafficking, girls ages 12 to 17, and we are so excited to be a part of Savannah Traffic Jam, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for Theros Place.
Hello, my name is Phyllis Lawson. I am a retired educator after 31 years. I became a domestic abuse and violence advocate and was introduced to this organization. I feel that it's so important for us to continue to protect our neighbors, and I am appreciative of all we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, we want to thank you all for your partnership. We could not do this conference without you, so we definitely appreciate your support, and we want to continue to build a strong partnership with you. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you either tomorrow for the law enforcement or Saturday for the general public coming. I want to thank Mayor Jones for his great support since we've been doing this conference since 2016. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, just for our
Yes.
listening citizens, can you tell us the time for the general population and what building it's going to be in?
The time is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and it's going to be in the Student Union. That's the building right next to Tiger Arena on campus, Savannah State University, right next to Tiger Arena.
Thank you, sir. In the 3rd District.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much, and let's give them a round of applause and thank them for all that they do. All right, let's jump into this agenda. I'm going to move around for purposes of expediency. We're going to start at items number 29 through 34 under the Airport Commission. Item number 29, approval of change order number 4 with IUGIS Construction for the Terminal Concourse Expansion Project in the amount of $3,242,738. Item number 30, approval to renew services for the MBROS Common Use Passenger Processing System and Common Use Self-Service System from NFAX in the amount of $40,135. Item number 31, approval to purchase hold room seating from Herman Miller, DBA National Office Systems in the amount of $774,307. Item number 32, approval to renew contract for professional services with Elavion Pacific Aviation Consulting in the amount of $173,250. Item number 33, approval to execute a contract with marketing and PR consultant Joy Piani with Luna PR in the amount of $55,000. And item number 34, approval to award change order number 1 to Arentz General Contracting for the equipment storage building project in the amount of $554,190.
So moved, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving back to item number 8, alcohol license hearings. Please peruse those items number 8 through 14. Are there any pullouts?
Mr. Mayor?
One moment. Okay. Item number 8 is approval of a Class C liquor, beer, and wine by the drink alcohol license with Sunday sales to Mark Lehman for Foley House at 14 West Hull Street in District 2. Item number 9 is approval of a Class A liquor, beer, and wine caterer, Class C liquor, beer, and wine by the drink with Sunday sales and Class E beer and wine by the package alcohol license to Mark Lehman for the JW Marriott at 500 West River Street at District 2. This is a new applicant for an existing business. Item number 10, approval of a Class C liquor, beer, and wine by the drink alcohol license with Sunday alcohol sales to Mark Lehman for JW Marriott Pavilion 1 at 500 West River Street in Automatic District 2, new applicant, existing business. Item number 11 is a Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink with Sunday sales alcohol license to Mark Lehman for JW Marriott Pavilion 2 at 300-500 West River Street in Automatic District 2, new applicant, existing business. Item number 12 is an approval of a Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink alcohol license with Sunday sales to Mark Lehman for JW Marriott Pavilion 3 at 300-500 West River Street in District 2, new applicant, existing business. Item number 13, approval of a Class C beer and wine by the drink alcohol license for Sunday sales to Sun Ju Yi for Sushi Kingdom at 7804 Abercorn Street, Suite 63A in District 4. And item number 14, approval of a Class C liquor, beer, and wine by the drink alcohol license for Sunday sales to Stacy Ritchie for J. Christopher's at 122 East Liberty Street in Automatic District 2. This is a public hearing that I'm now declaring open. Does anyone have anything against any of these licenses? Going once. Going twice. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
ask that we close the hearing.
Second the motion.
Properly moved and seconded, we close the hearings. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8, Alderman Leggett.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, ask that we approve the Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink alcohol license with Sunday sales to Mark Lehman for Foley House at 14 West Hull Street, sir.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9, Alderman Leggett.
Yes, sir, ask that we approve the Class A liquor, beer, wine caterer, Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink alcohol Sunday sales, and Class E beer and wine by the package alcohol license to Mark Lehman for J.W. Marriott at 500 West River Street.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10, Alderman Leggett.
Mr. Mayor, ask we approve the Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink with Sunday sales alcohol license to Mark Lehman for J.W. Marriott Hotel Pavilion 1 at 500 West River Street.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 11, Alderman Leggett.
Yes, sir. Again, Mr. Mayor, we ask that we approve the Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink and Sunday sales alcohol license to Mark Lehman, the J.W. Marriott Pavilion 2, 500 West River Street.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 12, Alderman Leggett.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we ask to approve of a Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink with Sunday sales alcohol license to Mark Lehman for J.W. Marriott Pavilion 3 at 300 West River Street.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 15, Alderman Palumbo.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move for the approval of a Class C beer, wine by the drink alcohol license with Sunday sales to Sun Ju Yi for Sushi Kingdom at 7804 Abercorn Street.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 14, Alderman Leggett.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, ask that we approve the Class C liquor, beer, wine by the drink alcohol license with Sunday sales to Stacy Ritchie for J. Christopher's at 122 East Liberty Street, sir.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, thank you all very much. Y'all go forth, be great. We appreciate your business interest in our city. Item number 15 has been continued to February the 12th. Item number 16 is petition of Josh Yellen on behalf of E.J. McLean with First City Brewing, LLC, for Midtown Savannah Property Investments, LLC, for a special use permit to establish a microbrewery with conditions in the TC1 zoning district on .57 acres at 1722 Habersham Street in Automatic District 2. Mr. Morrow, somebody from NBC? He was here, right? All right, let's see if he's,
Want me to stick my head outside real quick?
yeah, let's peek outside. I don't know. Oh, there he is. Man, look, we moving, man. Look, you
I'm so
look, we
sorry.
ready to roll, and you not ready to roll with us,
My
man.
friend, there is a delay in that room. I'm so
Man.
sorry.
Let's go.
Happy New Year.
Man, you almost
It's
got
so
left.
nice to see you all. Okay.
How you doing, sir?
Excellent. It's a pleasure to see you all.
Thank you.
Edward Morrow from the MPC. So I'm good to go. The first petition, 2512 Habersham Street. This was continued I'm going to roll right through this. There we go. 1722 Habersham. Thank you so much. All right, so our first petition is a special use request to establish a microbrewery within the TC1 zoning district, which is the traditional commercial 1 zoning district. You can see the subject property, which was developed as a whole block, a rare opportunity as an infill development here in the city of Savannah. Just to offer you some context here, you can see that it's surrounded by traditional residential future land use, but we've seen a succession of commercial uses come through this particular space. Just within the last 6 to 8 months, there was another special use permit for accessory alcohol sales within this same spot. So again, this is relatively consistent with the activity that we're seeing around this corner. You can see the zoning here is TC1. There's an adjoining TC1 block surrounded by largely TN2 low-density residential uses surrounding these parcels. This petitioner has provided a sketch of the floor layout for their proposed microbrewery. You can see the majority of it would consist of a tap room with just a very small amount of brewing equipment. And you can see that within the TC1 zoning district, this requires a special use permit. This is not the entire building. What you see on that photo are the windows that look into this space. And so this is just a suite within this larger building on the ground floor. Microbreweries are not defined explicitly within the zoning ordinance, but they are grouped with eating and drinking establishments, which conveys that these are intended to be treated similarly. They are relatively low intensity and, again, intended to be treated along the lines of a restaurant. With regard to regulations, they are regulated at the state level largely, with volume limits on direct-to-consumer sales for off-premise consumption, but we expect the majority of consumption to occur on-premise. In looking at the review criteria, one that I wanted to point out again is that we have seen a succession of commercial uses here. Special use requests associated with alcohol here previously. Staff does not anticipate that we would see any issues in association with this. And with that, MPC staff and the commission have recommended approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a public hearing, and I'm declaring open. I don't know, Mr. Allen, you want to speak now, or you want to reserve the right to come after? I don't think there's any speakers. Do we have speakers against this?
All right, and
Right. It was one right comment. Mr. Allen, I think you might just want to fade out. Yeah. Just count your blessings and slide to the left.
y'all have not been letting me speak lately, but
Going
thank
once.
y'all. Thank y'all.
Going twice. Is there? Yes, sir.
You want to close the hearing?
Yes, sir.
Ask that we close the hearing, sir.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a corresponding item, or is just the petition on 15?
I think it's just a
It's just it, so it's a special use. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the special use.
Mr. Mayor, can we don't have a chance. We already missed that chance to question and.
Oh, you can ask questions.
Okay, can I, Mr. Morrow?
Sure.
Either one of them.
Thought you was getting away, huh?
How you doing, Mr. Morrow? On behalf of the neighborhood, I know that we have a written statement from the Neighborhood Association, and I'm glad for that. But when you guys receive the request for someone to have this for a special use permit, does it come from the city first to you, or do the applicant give you guys a application for a special use permit?
Ordinarily, we would expect to have a pre-application conference. That doesn't always happen. Mr. Yellen is pretty consistent about having those, so I'm confident we had a pre-app. The application would be submitted to the city's Planning and Urban Design Department. They would officially transmit it to us, and so at that time, we would determine all of the relevant criteria. I'm guessing we're talking about a neighborhood meeting to discuss this. And
So you guys reach out to the Neighborhood Association. When in that process do you reach out to the alderman?
if it is required, at the point that we receive the application, officially we would notify them. In a pre-app context, we would encourage them to go ahead and make arrangements so that the application comes in with the date of the proposed meeting on it. But officially, we notify them once we receive the application if it's required.
And the reason why I'm asking that is I hate to be the last person to find out about something and we have to delay actions happening, because when I talk to the neighbors and we go knock on doors and ask them, do they know about the restaurant or they know about any entity that's coming, they don't know anything about it, and then we have to halt the process because I'm not sure, Jay, if somebody in our staff is not making us aware of businesses as they come online, or they put the petitions in to have a application in. But we're finding out at the latter end now, and then we have to play catch up, and it wastes time with not only with them and their staff and their agents but we just feel like we at the latter end of the conversation. I think when applications come in, that gives us an opportunity, if we are in the beginning of that conversation, to talk with the neighborhood association. Even if somebody else doesn't, at least we have made contact with them, so if there's ever an issue, we know how to address it.
Yes, sir, I understand the request, and I think sometimes there's more petitions that come in than make it through the kind of administrative gauntlet sometimes, and don't want to burden council who's at the back end of the process for approval with so many notifications for things that might not potentially.
I'm asking for the notification.
Yes, sir. We do notify because of requests that you and other council members have made. We do. I send a memo to council at the end of every MPC meeting, letting council know what's coming down the pike, which is usually a month or two away from a city council meeting. But let me work on how we can notify council members earlier for an application.
But what we can do is, when staff get it and they start working it, this is the issue that we're having with the item number 15 that we had to move, because a lot of it has missed this space because we haven't allowed all the people to get in the middle of that conversation and find out what the issues is really happening between not only the petitioner, but also with staff and also with the applicant. The applicant, the petitioners, and the neighborhood. So when there's a breakdown in communications, then there's always going to be a problem, and then we're going to always point the finger, and then we're going to have to remove items from the agenda that we can resolve. But when we're not doing our part, that make us look bad, and we have egg on our face as the legislators to do what we're supposed to do, and we sit on the dais. And I never ever hate to answer a question by a entity or a neighborhood that I don't know. I never want to say I don't know, and I have to go back and find out that all this stuff did not happen. But in this case right here, I spoke with some of the neighbors, and they did not know that this action was happening. And I've spoken with Josh, and he and I are going to work along with the petitioner to make sure that this all the processes are going to move forward. And also with this, I had an issue with the parking requirements that's supposed to be allowed with a business like this. Every corner that's around this business has a yellow stripe, so there is no parking there in all four corners of 34th and Habersham Street. So I'm not sure how they would feel that it fit all criteria when there is no parking, or does parking criteria is it warranted in this area? Because I know, is it under 3,000 square feet that parking is not required?
I will say, in reviewing the special use criteria, you absolutely have the ability to go back based on these criteria and say, under specific circumstances, we believe there are stipulations that should be attached to this. But this is within the streetcar historic district. It benefits from the provision where no off-street parking is required for non-residential uses from 3,000 square feet and below.
Well, I look forward to somebody working with us instead of against us to get this stuff passed, because it's only quality of life for the people who live around it, and we want to make sure that this stuff is really looked at with a good eye, and not allowing just these businesses to come up, because we're brand new to microbreweries. We don't know how are they really pressure cookers, or are they dangerous? Will they blow a hole in the wall? Is it a danger, or do these people even know what they're using? Or are they just fresh to the business? So I mean, as a representative of the district, I have to ask these questions and be at the forefront of it, because if something happened, I have to be the one that they call. Thank you.
Understood.
Alderwoman Miller Blakely.
Yes, Mr. Morrow, does this particular business have a good neighbor agreement?
I'm unaware of a good neighbor agreement. Those are private agreements that typically occur between the applicant and the neighborhood leadership.
Alderman?
So my question is, because in the past, we've held other businesses up from getting this approval. So Alderman Leggett, they have no good neighbor agreement?
When they got a letter of support from the Neighborhood Association that was submitted to Mr. Yellen.
Yes, sir.
And this is why I was raising the question, because we have two different pages asking the same question.
Well, we cannot hold other businesses to a higher standard than we do others. So I don't know, Mayor Johnson, you let me know, how do we make sure that we have everything in place before we approve this?
I have to believe from staff's perspective, everything is in place. They're just waiting on council to make a decision. We've had the public hearing as required, and we had one letter to come in regarding it, and I believe that's it. So council, right, so.
Okay. Are you staying on it?
Okay.
Well, I'm ready to move forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I ask that we approve the petition by Josh Yellen on behalf of E.J. McLean for First City Brewing LLC and Midtown Savannah Property Investments for the special use permit to establish microbrewery in conditions of TC1.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 17, you're welcome. Petition of Jack Parker of Catalyst Design Group for Todd Maxwell of Savannah Health Services LLC for a map amendment to rezone 92.92 acres at 4700 Waters Avenue from PD to PD for uses allowed in the OI and OIE office and institution expanded in Aldermanic District 3. This is corresponding to item number 30. I'm sorry, 20. I said, yeah, it is 20. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, as you stated, a rezoning petition to, in essence, align the Memorial Health Center at 4700 Waters Avenue with NUZO. So currently, Memorial Health Center operates under a planned development designation that is aligned to the zoning districts that were effective under the previous zoning ordinance. When NUZO was adopted in 2019, the underlying base zoning districts would have changed. However, because this was tied to the previous zoning districts, some action on the part of council is necessary now to realign the regulatory scheme so that they're operating, in essence, based on the current schema that we have for zoning. Just to show you the blue area that you see here, those are civic and institutional future land uses. Not all of that is Memorial. On the other side of Waters happens to be Calvary Day School's campus and Calvary Baptist Temple, but the large portion that is to the east of Waters Avenue is what you're seeing that is affiliated with Memorial Hospital's campus. You can see to the north there are some low-density residential uses. You can see adjoining Waters, also to the south and west, that there are some suburban commercial style uses. This is not far from the Sweet Spice area that you all recently also saw a special use permit, I believe, for. To show you the zoning, that PDS indicates the zoning for the Memorial Health Campus. And around that, you can see that there are largely single-family residential zoning districts, in addition to the office and institutional for the church, and some neighborhood business uses. It's one of our later forming areas that reflects a traditional development pattern, but it's transitioning into a suburban feel. And so it's been a challenge to kind of realign that. What this history shows you is that over Memorial Health's history, they have seen a series of small zoning actions that were aimed at rectifying some small needs in order to develop parking or to add signage to the front of the Children's Hospital, a series of small zoning actions. And so what we would hope to achieve today with the proposal is to modify this map that you can see is aligned to previous zoning districts, the PUD-IS, the PUD-ISB, the RIP, which are zoning districts that we no longer use, and to bring them into scope with NUZO. The new map that is proposed would put the campus under 5-tier districts based on use intensity, the most intense being in the center, indicated by pink, and that radiates downward to the areas in blue that are immediately adjoining residences. One update I'd like to include from the staff report is that we are aware that city staff has had some conversations with the neighborhood leadership and with leadership of Memorial Hospital to ensure that they are effective partners working together in this transition as we sort of resituate the hospital for its future growth. And so we believe that this particular plan to realign these use intensity districts cascading downward is going to be a positive step forward for a smooth transition as the hospital moves forward. A couple of things that I would like to mention: in the most intense use district, we have asked that the petitioner align these districts with the OI&E and O&I zoning districts, which are part of NUZO currently, and what they will do is adjust those based on their specific needs. One of the things that they need really from is height restrictions. And so in the most intense area, only that pink area, we would see heights up to about 200 feet potentially, depending on the proposals that come in. So you could expect a new hospital tower or something of that nature. Cascading down to the lowest conservation, obviously there are significant stormwater features that are adjoining this site that will be held in conservation, but those adjoining single-family residences will be in District 4, and they will be more so compatible with the single-family residences and other moderate density residential development that you see in the area. So very contextualized. In looking at the suitability criteria, again, the purpose here is to reconcile what are a series of obsolete zoning districts, and most importantly, in looking at how this addresses a future need for the city. Memorial Hospital is a critical regional healthcare provider and employer. A couple of highlights. It is the regional referral center for heart care, cancer care, high-risk pregnancies, and it has the region's only level 1 trauma center, level 3 neonatal ICU, and the Children's Hospital of Savannah. And so this is a critical regional asset for more than just the healthcare, but also for its impact on our local economy. And so with that, the MPC staff does recommend approval, and the MPC itself also supported that recommendation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about these changes.
All right, thank you very much. So this is a public hearing that I'm now deeming open. I do have one comment, item number 17 from Marilyn Jivens, Edgemere Sackville Neighborhood Association President is here. Hello, ma'am, how are you?
Good afternoon. Hello, thank you. I'm doing well.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year, everyone.
Same to you.
I am here today to make sure one portion that was stated is the height along the, I have to do streets for me to know where we're
Right.
talking about. The Lexington Avenue Parnell Street side, to keep the height restriction no higher than 30 feet. That would be equal to a 2-story building. Across from Memorial's campus, we have Georgia I, which I believe is a 3-story
All right.
building. And then there's also the Ronald McDonald House and the Center for Digestive and Liver Health. That's a 2-story building. So the height restriction to the equal to Ronald McDonald House or the Center for Digestive and Liver Health would be what the neighborhood recommends. To
Okay.
go as high as the Georgia I building would be a no for us. And also to keep the mature trees. What has been done by Memorial Hospital thus far with the cleaning of the properties and keeping that particular parcel of land from Parnell Street to Lexington Avenue has been cleared and cleaned. It looks so much better. Thank you all so much for that. It is a better representation of our neighborhood and what the residents expect. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. So you've heard Ms. Jivens' concerns. Is that properly reflected within the proposal?
The zoning ordinance naturally includes some provisions where you've got potentially dissimilar zoning districts adjoining one another. And so as you move into the adjoining property with the more intense use, there are provisions to limit the height going into that site. And so the maximum height in the residential districts would be approximately 36 feet. And so the next district over would be in scale with that 36-foot rather than 30 exactly, but it is contextually sensitive, and that's a feature of the zoning ordinance as it stands.
Ms. Jivens, did you understand what he's saying?
Yes, so instead of 30 feet, it would be 36 feet, which would be about a 2.5-story building.
That's correct.
I think we'll be okay with that, but nothing higher than that.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all clear, because once we're done, I don't want any changes. Okay, so we're, okay. All right. Are there any other comments? Again, this is a public hearing. All right. Going once, going twice.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
second the motion.
Been properly moved and seconded. We close the hearing. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderwoman Wilder Bryan.
Mr. Mayor, this item 17 is married to 20. And how do you want me to move on that? I just want to say that I spoke to Todd at length. Ms. Jivens did an amazing job at MPC with her concerns. Memorial Hospital employs 43 of our citizens. It is a critical business. It takes care of high-risk pregnancies, heart, and that I want to acknowledge in our summary, and it's clear to see, I think, and I spoke to people at MPC, it says that there is no known association there, but clearly she's there. And if it's in my 3rd district, we keep our neighborhood citizens engaged. And so we're just glad that Ms. Jivens showed up and showed out. We have a unanimous decision. This particular project is in parity with the nouveau and the current city ordinances from 2019. So it gives me a great pleasure to ask for the approval of the petition of Jack Potter of Catalyst Design Group for Todd Maxwell of Savannah Health Services for a map amendment to rezone 92.92 acres at 47 Waters Avenue. And then I want to make sure that the first and second reading is covered. Hold on a minute, sir. Just hold
And
on.
while she's getting that together, let me,
Here it is.
there are ways to be able to manage growth. And growth should always be managed responsibly. You can grow out, or you can grow up, or a combination of the two. And certainly, as we value having health care, and particularly the quality of memorial in our right now community, access to health care, particularly during these days, becomes even more necessary. And so herein lies an opportunity, as I see it, is really a win-win, not only for the hospital and the hospital system to meet its future needs, but also for us to be able to safeguard the community and make sure that the community around it has viability. Alderwoman Wilder Bryan?
Yes, sir. And so do I?
Make the first reading.
17? Okay.
Yeah.
So I move that the first reading be considered the second, and the ordinance be placed upon its passage and passed.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Mr.
Item
Mayor.
number 18. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to thank the president.
Ms.
of
Jivens,
the,
thank you.
Ms. Jivens, thank you for showing up and showing out and being consistent and taking care of your association and their members. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Items number 18 and 19 are consistent and to 21 and 22. Petition of Bridget Liddy on behalf of the mayor and aldermen of the city of Savannah for a future land use amendment for the residential single family, industrial light, and commercial neighborhood to plan development for 9.99 acres along Dawes Avenue. Item number 19 is a petition for a zoning map amendment from the RSF5 CP and LI zoning districts to plan development for 9.99 acres along Dawes Avenue. So I assume these are sequential in nature?
Yes,
That
sir.
you have to do the FLUM first, and then from the FLUM you can do the zoning map amendment, correct?
That's
Okay.
correct. Thank
All
you,
right.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes, I would like to discuss these concurrently. It's a good day when, as a planner, you get to bring projects like this before City Council. This is a project that will reconcile some irregularities in this area for what are currently 36 parcels, and to kind of bring them into harmony with one another. I'll take the opportunity while I have this visual to kind of point out that this is a really precarious context. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but what you're seeing here is, actually this is commercial indicated on the future land use, and this is residential, and you've got industrial in that gray that's completely surrounding it. And so when you look over at the zoning map, you can also see this area is surrounded by light industrial uses. In this area, as you will see on another exhibit, there's some wetlands that are here, and so some drainage issues. And you've got these dissimilar parcels, right? And so this combination of discordant sort of future land use and zoning and environmental needs, it has created a challenge that really only cities often can go in and they can address these issues. And so this is a great opportunity to see the city of Savannah take its resources and put it behind this opportunity to develop some much needed, reasonably priced, I'll call it reasonably priced, affordable housing. This will be through CHSA. 32 dwelling units on these 36 parcels in the form of a PUD. And this is going to contain a mixture of residential single family, industry light, this is going to realign those future land use districts, residential single family, industry light, and commercial neighborhood, but ultimately for the purpose of developing a planned development that will contain single family conservation and a mixed use neighborhood building. And so, as we've said, this was filed concurrently with a zoning map amendment request. In reviewing our policy documents, we found that this was consistent with a number of policies from Plan 2040 and also from Savannah's GPS. Policies specifically related to affordable housing provision, infill, and creating diversity of housing types, responsible growth, stormwater management through the infrastructure improvements that will occur here, and obviously also equitable community development through this rectification of issues that occurred some time ago. To show you the environmental context, you can see the 100-year storm hydraulic model that the city of Savannah recently had updated. And so that pink area that you see there are areas that are likely to be inundated in the event of a 100-year storm event. And so that is the majority of this area. Particularly with regard to the criteria for a future land use map amendment, this is necessary to remediate and mitigate a precarious interface between residential and industrial uses, and it corrects the long-standing deficiencies here. We are definitely seeing with this some restorative or distributional environmental justice occurring. There are certainly areas of this town, being a port city, that have borne the brunt of industrial impacts, and so this seeks to reverse some of that, while also providing some affordable housing and hydrological resilience through the infrastructure improvements. We heard Mr. Law come to the MPC and give testimony on a number of occasions, and so in doing research on this, I went back and found an original plat in 1987 for part of this area. On the left-hand side, those small rectangular lots that you can see here were the residential lots that were recombined to form the industrial parcels that you see over on the right, and that are reflected now in those small warehouse buildings that you see. And so those were intended to be places where people would live. There was the separation of a community, and this is kind of the reunification of that we're seeing with the city's effort here. Moving into the zoning portion of our request, you can see the proposed plan development master plan here. And so you can see that in addition to the single family detached, there would also be a single family attached unit, which would contain 2 units. You would have a mixed use community building, in addition to dedicated green space, conservation areas, and some parks, some small tiny garden park areas that would be available for resident use. In reviewing the criteria for a rezoning, we saw that the PD structure is going to allow the regulatory flexibility that's needed. Those small lots that you saw, they need to be reconfigured so that in essence they square with zoning. Right now we don't have a base zoning district that is going to permit lots of this size without a significant number of variances. And so the plan development framework allows you to go in and to set appropriate standards for the re-subdivision, for the combination of the re-subdivision of these lots. And so ultimately, they will be allowed to be about 2,400 square feet in area, but they will absolutely be habitable and sufficient for their purpose. They are not substandard by any means. Whether the proposed zoning district addresses a specific need, again, we can see in our policy documents that this is well supported for the purpose of increasing supportive and affordable housing, for addressing stormwater management needs in this area, and also for moving towards the realization of our goals in Savannah's GPS. Finally, this is purposed to explicitly mitigate the adverse effects of the industrial corridor that adjoins this property. And so this is a necessary step forward to see a coordinated redevelopment of this area. MPC staff was proud to support this project, and the Planning Commission was as well. And so here you can see on your screen the staff and Planning Commission recommendations for both the future land use map amendment and the zoning map amendment. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Mayor?
All right, this is a public hearing. Are there any comments regarding this item? Going once? Going twice? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Alderman Lanier?
Mr. Mayor?
Huh?
It's in the fifth.
Okay. Okay.
I would like to close the hearing.
Second the motion.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderwoman Shabazz.
Comment.
All right, Alderwoman Lanier.
I'll go first.
Chair recognizes Alderwoman
You're going to
Lanier.
carry the motion. I just have a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This project has been going on for quite some time.
Right.
I think it was in the mix prior to this council and the last council.
That's right.
I think it's a fine project. Chill out. I think it's a fine project. I think it fits there. And my comments are not pertaining to what is being proposed and what will go there. My comments are concerning how it impacts the historic Ogeechiton community. In the past, Ogeechiton Dawes has been one community. Two names, one community, same people, kindred people. They had a historic connection there. And with this project and with the road widening, it has divided that community. They're no longer a cohesive community as far as proximity, but they are as far as their historic connection. The contractors with Highway 17 project, this project, have been working diligently to provide amenities and road access, good walking conditions for this project. There has been numerous meetings, and that's been a request, and I do believe it's considered in the plan. But the people of Ogeechiton, they even refuse to be here today because they are very dissatisfied and frustrated because they wanted to use this opportunity, although they did not want to stand in the way of this project, they wanted to use this opportunity to receive some benefits for the Ogeechiton side. These neighborhoods, I think, was founded in like 1909, historic neighborhoods in Savannah. And over in Ogeechiton, there are so many conditions and negative quality of life conditions that they were hoping that while we were making this investment, they would have an opportunity to get some of those addressed. There's the street access, the road, another way to get in and out. There's one way in, one way out, and then it's a high berm. And then there were two environmental assaulting businesses, the concrete company and those cars on each side of them. It was horrible conditions that if you stand in there, you could feel the grit in your teeth if you try to talk to people. It's horrible environmental injustice. And there has been no movement, and I've been working with them for the last 20 years on these same projects. So they was hoping to be able to use the attention that this project is getting and that investment to be able to deal with some of the issues over there. And then now they have a further restriction when they leave in there, because it's a forced right, one way. Because of the new road, they can no longer even turn left towards downtown. They have to be forced to make that right. So they're down in there, one way in, one way out, with the forced right on the way out. So they have been asking, and I've been meeting with Jay about it, that staff get together and consider another access road either to Stiles Avenue or those tracks back there, so they will have another option to get in and out. That's been one thing that has not been addressed yet. Then they were hoping to have a community space, because there will be one in the new development, and they have none that they've been advocating for probably the last decades. And that hasn't happened. The environmental critical issues, intrusive zoning because of the proximity to the lighting industry. So all of these problems are on the Ogeechiton side. Now, the community sits in two districts, the first, Ogeechiton, and the fifth, the Dawes side. So as a disclaimer, no one wants to stand in the way of this project, but they did want to be able to deal with that industrial properties intruding onto the residential and these other issues that I have mentioned. So I wanted to take this opportunity today just to let you know why the frustration exists in Ogeechiton. I do believe staff is working or has acknowledged these issues. This is not brand new that I'm saying. We've been meeting on this for probably a couple of years now on these concerns. So I'm hoping to see some type of resolution to the concerns of the people in Ogeechiton area. The issue will pass, which it should, but it won't receive my vote as just a protest and solidarity to the people of Ogeechiton. So, Alderwoman.
Thank you. Let me lift, because I represented that area as well for quite some time, and I think it's also important to lift a couple of things that you have spoken to. I remembered that we, at one point, had secured some funds, some SPLOST funds, I believe it was, for some community space, and no one in that area wanted to sell it because it was all owned, literally, by a couple of families, and therefore there was no space to put community space. It's important to note that, as you've noticed, that Ogeechee Road is actually Highway 17, which is a state road. And the number one concern for the folks in that community was the fact there was so many accidents at Ogeechee Road at the foot of that overpass because they could not see coming out of Ogeechee Road. Coming off of Ogeechiton, turning on to 17. And so that was part of the testimony given to the state, which precipitated the reasoning for making it one way, because there were so many accidents from individuals coming off of Ogeechiton Road onto 17, often into incoming traffic without realizing that it was coming. I think that, we can certainly, and I support continuing to work on the residents' concerns there. At one point, we were purchasing all of Dawes Avenue, and some stayed, so they had to come forth with another plan to be able to do this. But I appreciate recognizing the need for progress. But City Manager, I would echo that we need to continue to hold the hand of the good people of Ogeechiton and help them. Again, some of their issues are internal, and that the more we can assist them, and then of course there's that piece of commercial land that we've talked about several times that might provide some of the relief that Alderwoman Lanier is speaking to. Alderwoman Shabazz.
One last thing, Mr. Mayor. One thing, Mr. Mayor, please. Mm-hmm. Everything you said, I acknowledge it and I agree. Do staff please make a notation that the Action Auto building is for sale, and the city owns the lot next to it, just to the north.
No, you're right, and I've asked the city manager on several occasions now for some status on that, because I believe that's an opportunity in more ways than one, at least for addressing some of the relief issues that the folks need over in that area. But thank you for that. Alderwoman Shabazz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I know, she was next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In reference to this proposed plan development that is in the 5th District, this particular project gave me the opportunity to sit with Alderwoman Lanier and to meet with her constituents right across Ogeechee Road and Highway 17 to hear the environmental injustices that are going on. Heard them for many, many years with the mayor who represented that area, and that condition continues to go on. So I am really in support of what Alderwoman Lanier and the mayor is talking about in reference to right across the street over in the First District with the citizens and community and the members of the Ogeechiton community. With the policy procedures as we move through with our documents in Plan 2040, we are just thankful that this project is a part of the policy issue of Plan 2040 in reference to affordability, the affordability housing stock, and also the strategic planning and plan section of the policy document of 2040. Thank you so much, Mrs. Wilson from MPC, and all of your staff for such an excellent documentation as we move forward into the future. With the Dawes Avenue proposed project, it's going to be very, very good for our community with actual, without question, affordability of housing. So with that being said, I would like to, and also I would like to, City Manager, thank Mrs. Liddy, Bridget Liddy, for really staying on top of this and being with Alderwoman Lanier and myself as we move together to get to this point with bringing this item to City Council for a vote, and hopefully it will pass so that we can have more affordable housing available for our citizens here in the city of Savannah. So, Mr. Mayor, can I go ahead and make...
One moment, please. Alderwoman Miller Blakely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. I don't know who to ask this question to. Alderwoman Lanier mentioned that Ogeechiton and Dawes Avenue individuals were asking for certain items for quite a while. How long have they been asking for the roads and the community centers and what have you?
It's been quite some time. Again,
Let me stop you right there. The
Yeah.
reason why I ask is because how long will it be before we can give them some of the things that they're asking for?
well, I think the number one
is the
thing,
process?
number one thing they asked for was traffic relief on Ogeechee Road, which they're getting now. That was the number one issue. There
But
was
that's that one way in and
right.
one
Well,
way
right.
out,
Well, it was one way in, but it was when they came in, you could cross across 17 and literally in the road of traffic. You couldn't see coming from the other side, and so there was a lot of accidents coming out of there. And so when the hearings were occurring from the state regarding that, that was really probably the number one issue. They want another issue, and Alderwoman Lanier can correct me if I'm wrong. They wanted another opportunity to get out of Ogeechiton, which was not possible because of the commercial business next to it. There might be an opportunity now that did not exist before. Talking about community space, again, at one point, we had some funds identified to perhaps do something there, but the neighbors down there, it's all owned by neighbors, and so there was no one willing to use their land for that purpose. So again, there's just a bunch of things that we need to continue to work, and I'm glad that Alderwoman Lanier lifted it. I think we just have to continue to work through the issues, and when opportunities come available, to be able to address them.
So you're saying that there is an opportunity possibly with that plot of land that the city owns next to the auto place? Is that what you said?
Well, without saying too much, I think that there could be some opportunities now that did not exist before.
Right. Okay, so the people in Ogeechiton and Dawes Avenue will get some kind of relief
I think-
based on that? Okay.
I hope that they do. I hope that we do.
That's what I'm asking. How can,
That's a legal issue and a staff issue that have to be worked out. And I would just suggest, because it deals with some items in real estate, that we just don't address those here.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
I can't
I
vote.
would like to make a motion, and we're going to go over to item number 21, which is for the future land use map amendment. I move that the first reading be considered the second, and the ordinance placed upon its passage and passed.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that the petition of Bridget Liddy on behalf of the mayor and aldermen for a future land use map amendment from residential single-family industry light to commercial neighborhood to planned development for 9.9 acres along Dawes Avenue. The first reading be considered the second, and so on is placed upon its passage and passed. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Motion passes at 7-2, I believe. Okay. Item number 22 is, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion on item number 22, which is a zoning map amendment for Dawes Avenue. I move that the first reading be considered the second, and the second and being placed on its passage and passed.
Second.
Been probably moved and seconded that the first reading be considered the second, and so on is placed upon its passage and pass. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion passes 7-2. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Moody.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, it moves us on to item number 23, which is the adoption of the amendment to the 2026 revenue ordinance to establish a stormwater utility rate ordinance within the City of Savannah's Code of Ordinances. If you remember, this was passed from our last meeting in December to this time to allow us to have more opportunities to meet with our community. Mr. Manager, would you like to say anything before we go into our hearing opportunities?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, we did meet with many community partners over the intervening weeks since the last hearing on this item in December. The majority of those stakeholders were faith leaders within the city, staff, including Chief Ron Feldner and I, and Mayor, you were at a meeting hosted by the Interfaith Ministry Alliance in early January. I also had my quarterly meeting with faith leaders yesterday, where we discussed this issue at length as well, and tried to address concerns and hopefully answered all of the questions that we could in terms of how we came about with this proposal that started from a city council direction for me to bring a proposal forward 2 years ago at the council's visioning session. The stormwater utility is a function and a regime that's allowed under Georgia state law to help support stormwater management, infrastructure, and operations in jurisdictions. There are 77 and counting stormwater utilities across the state. This utility, as conceived, would really, with an equity lens, try to ensure that our residents are paying a very small share of what could be a very, very meaningful annual revenue in order to improve operations and maintenance with canal and ditch cleaning, doubling our Vector trucks and associated crews that go out and routinely clear our catchment basins during heavy water events, as well as to have a revenue source to fund and to bond for smaller capital neighborhood-based flooding issues. So the way in which the city pays for large capital expenses for stormwater and drainage are mostly through SPLOST expenditures, where SPLOST 8, a very hefty portion of the City of Savannah's SPLOST 8 list is for major stormwater and drainage infrastructure projects. This council also established a stormwater fund several years ago and used any overages in our general fund ad valorem tax collection to fund small capital projects. But these are the type of projects where may not impact the stormwater system as a whole, but certainly impact local neighborhoods. I know that everybody here, and certainly anybody watching, if I asked for a raise of hands, if you could close your eyes and know an intersection that floods during a heavy rain event, I'm sure many of you could name several. And some of those intersections and road types aren't near any other place that flood because we have these localized flooding issues that sometimes take $100,000, $200,000, $1 million in order to repair. And this is what this utility is really designed to address. We're still going to need to lean on our SPLOST programming. We're still going to need to lean on our general fund contributions to capital, our pay-as-you-go capital, and grant dollars from the state and the federal government to do the heavy lifting of the stormwater infrastructure we need for our future, which right now totals about $500 million in capital needs. But with those capital projects, we also have to be able to invest in the ongoing operation and maintenance of those systems. We have a lot of infrastructure laid out today, but some of that infrastructure does not work the way that it needs to because we do not have the capability and capacity to be able to maintain those systems to properly function as they should and as they were designed. And let me then kind of address the equity component of this proposal versus the other way to fund this would be through raising property taxes. If we were to raise property taxes to meet this need, a typical home in near West Savannah or on the near east side of downtown Savannah, where a property value is, taxable property value is somewhere around $225,000 to $250,000. To raise the same revenue, you'd have to raise those property taxes by another $100 a year. In a stormwater utility, because of the average size of those homes, that burden on that same household would be reduced 4 times. So you would see an average annual cost for the same benefit at around $25 a year. So that's really where we are looking on the equity component here, and the stormwater utility is a way to ensure that all properties are paying their fair share based on how much impervious surface their property has, and that our residents are not having to pay the brunt of the burden on a stormwater infrastructure increase in revenue. So those are really the components there. I want to point to the ordinances, which has a community equity provision. I want to point to the wisdom of this council that asked us to create an advisory group made up of members appointed by this council. We are going to continue that advisory group should council pass this provision to help make sure they make recommendations on the small capital projects that we would program every year. We also have a project prioritization matrix, which is spelled out in the ordinance and associated documents as well, which talk about how we would bring forward the small capital projects every year that we intend to use this revenue in order to address. And of course, as we started this year in the FY 2026 budget, where the first time we laid out the streets and the sidewalks that we intend to repair with the budget, we would do that for our stormwater utility revenue as well, and name the specific projects, those small neighborhood capital projects that we intend to implement that year with those year's revenues for this council's consideration, amendment, and approval. We heard many things from our faith communities that have helped to shape all of those components, I think, a little bit more crisply. We have also discussed the need for a utility hardship fund, which we would find an appropriate 501c3 that may be able to partner with the city in order to be able to provide utility assistance, including stormwater utility assistance, for our residents who need that assistance, because we understand that even $2 a month is for many residents in the city a lot to ask, and so we need to be able to have those mechanisms in place there as well, and something that we're committed on working on and finding a solution for in the intervening months.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I'm declaring this public hearing open. For those that want to speak, you have 2 minutes in which to do so. We ask that you come up, you state your name or any affiliation, and then the clock will start. When we get to 2 minutes, I will be really nice and I'll bulge my big eyes at you. And then soon after that, I'll be asking for you to conclude your remarks. So first we will have Lorene Bowles, and then I have Glenda Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Lorene Bowles. I am a resident of Carver Village, and for 30 years I served as a stormwater engineer to a municipality. That municipality implemented a stormwater fee, and it also established a my name is Lorene Bowles. I'm a resident of Carver Village, and for 30 years I served as a stormwater engineer to a municipality. That city implemented a stormwater fee and established quantitative criteria, just as the city manager just described. And what was needed there and is needed here is qualitative criteria to disrupt the forces of marginalization. In the focus group, we did discuss a specific criteria, one in which the city is able to leverage its investments. And that makes sense. The city should leverage its investments. And so, for example, if a street is being repaved, and say within a year, but the stormwater conduit is going to be replaced in 3 years, that stormwater project would be elevated to coincide with the street repaving. Absolutely. I think we can all agree on that. However, in this scenario, marginalized communities receive a disbenefit because where streets are not paved, stormwater projects are not elevated. And so what I would recommend, and I hope that you would be able to find an opportunity to accompany this some qualitative criteria to that quantitative criteria that you have, in order so that we can simply disrupt the cycle of marginalization and provide equitable distribution of stormwater resources across all city council districts and push forward the equity that you talked about for justice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Bowles, you serve on the advisory committee?
I do.
All right, so you're in a unique position to make sure that we continue to hear. Mr. Manager, I trust you've...
Yes, and I think that we've, our qualitative approach to that is and we'll look for the advisory group to help us shape that, but one big component is keeping that advisory group on in perpetuity if this utility is adopted, to be that qualitative approach there and to look at the quantitative data and then to understand as well where we may need to break that cycle of marginalization that Ms. Bowles is talking about. The other component of that is, of course, bringing those projects for explicit approval to City Council as well, where City Council can also weigh quantitative data, but also weigh what is working or is not working in the community, and shape the prioritization of projects as well.
All right, thank you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glenda Jones.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mayor and Council. My name is Glenda Jones, and I'm coming to you as the president of the Liberty City Neighborhood Association. I didn't know whether to do citizen or elected since I'm both, but I'll be here as the president of the association. And one of my neighborhood association members actually was on the task force as well, Donna Myers-Oliver. So we thank you for having her representing the neighborhood. I don't like a stormwater fee tax, whatever we call it. I don't like property tax increases, but I love the neighborhood that I represent. And that neighborhood is a neighborhood that sees a lot of flooding on certain of our streets. With this stormwater fee, hopefully we can mitigate some of the flooding that's around the city. I have been going to meetings with the stormwater people for the past year or so. The last meeting I went to, I actually gave them the address of the house that I own in Liberty City, and they gave me an estimate of what I would pay. Now, I believe the highest price is $475. Mine's about 3 times that amount because I do have 2 auxiliary buildings on my property. It would probably come to $12.53 according to their estimate. But that's a small price for me to pay to help my neighbor on Champion Street who has to park his car on Liberty Parkway when there's a heavy rain because it floods at his house. So although we never like to pay more, sometimes we have to pay more in order we can have that quality of life and quality of living that we're looking for. So I'm asking you to vote yes for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pastor Andre Osborne.
Good afternoon, Mayor Johnson and council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Today, I'm speaking on behalf of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, approximately 30 churches, the Berean Association, approximately 50 churches in the Savannah Alliance of Pastors. And we're here in concern for our neighbors who are already struggling and would hope that we can find a better path forward together. Savannah's been given much, and our tax digest is growing. Our city is prospering, but with that blessing comes responsibility to ensure that the prosperity reaches all of the residents. And in our humble opinion, the stormwater fee we're considering will fall hardest on those who can least afford it. And to many of our neighbors, they're already choosing between paying water bills and putting food on the table or buying medications, and another fee, no matter how necessary, will push struggling families further to the breaking point. And I want to be honest, too, about the track record. I understand the flooding in a very unique way. Living in Woodville, growing up in Woodville, my grandmother having a business on Bay Street where for several years it would flood in front of her business, and we would try to block some of the flooding with our own cars. It took a while for the city to get around to doing some of that critical infrastructure work. And for too long, underserved areas of the city have watched investments flow elsewhere, while streets flood and infrastructure crumbles and the voice of marginalized people go unheard. Now, I've heard it suggested that if we oppose this enterprise fund, we must be for raising taxes. And that's simply not the truth. Let's just address that head on. We don't want either. Stormwater management is a core function of government. None of us can control how much it rains. This is a core function of government, not an optional service, a basic responsibility. And with the city's growing budget, the city has the capacity to fund this essential service without adding new fees or without raising taxes. I'd also like to address even the equity piece, and the question is, in what way? Because now we're requiring residents. Is that 2 minutes?
No, you're already on, but go ahead and finish your thought.
No, is that 2 minutes?
Yeah, but go ahead and finish your thought.
That we're asking those who've been left behind to pay the price for finally catching up. So I'm asking if we can consider a way, and this is coming from those who are on the front lines of helping our citizens every day. This is going to impact us because it's going to impact our ability to help people. This will most likely target our mission and outreach budgets. So between those who will be impacted and those who help the impacted, I do want to indicate, if the city can, that we find a better way forward.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? I don't have any other cards. Is there a motion to close the hearing?
I move to close the hearing.
Second motion.
Probably moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I have a
Motion
comment,
passed.
Mayor.
One moment, ma'am. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Bowles. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you, Pastor Osborne, for raising comments. We'll start down this end. I saw Alderwoman Bell. Well, we can. Well, I saw you first, so go ahead, Alderwoman Bell.
I don't care if you start.
Alderwoman Bell, the chair recognizes you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, pastors who spoke for or against, citizens and pastors who spoke for and against this item of this stormwater fee, the implementation of a stormwater fee. I want to say that over the last several weeks, I guess since the last council meeting, I have been meeting with the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, with the in my other capacity as a minister, I'm a member of IMA, and there were members of the Marine Association, I guess, as well, and listening to the plight of churches and with church leaders, and obviously the concern that they have is for their parishioners. And although the fee is nominal, but that's relative. And I have to say that, you know, an increase for my colleague here may not mean the same thing to my household. It may not affect us equally. I don't know what you got going. And the same thing applies with the pastors, because I think, as one of the pastors said, it affects their ability to help their parishioners, because in the end, they're going to hear it again. So how does this apply? How does this relate to what we're discussing here? I definitely agree that improving our stormwater system, our infrastructure that's almost 300 years old is necessary. I mean, we cannot continue to just do nothing. I am very concerned, a bit concerned though, about the funding process, how we are going to finance this. So today I don't plan, although I know it's necessary, I know the need is there, and I know we have to come up with a way to address those needs. I don't plan to vote for it. However, if it passed, I've already gone beyond that and talked to the city manager. I hope you heard him talk about pastors, a hardship fund. And I talked to the city manager about the implementation of that system if it passes today. So please know that we are not turning a deaf ear to you. We are recognizing what you're saying and feeling you, and know that you're thinking about the least of these. So I will certainly be working in concert with the city manager to make sure that an outside body manages, perhaps a nonprofit agency, manage a fund of sorts, or a method, I should say a hardship system, so citizens can appeal to that and be evaluated, and maybe, you know, I don't know what the process will be, but we'll make sure that something is put in place to address the needs of folk who legitimately can't afford to pay. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Miller Blakely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to say to the ministers, thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. Mr. City Manager, SPLOST started when? What year?
I think it was
1985, the mayor
Yes, ma'am.
said.
Long time ago.
1985, okay? We have already reached our $450 million goal for SPLOST 7, right? Yeah, SPLOST 7, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We have, okay. Now, we also have what we call surplus money, right?
There's money that's,
Just yes or no. We have surplus money from SPLOST.
we have SPLOST
already, right?
7 Tier 5, which is what's called in the IGA, which is money over that, which is allocated.
Which is over that amount that
Which
we
is over
got
that
from
amount.
the 450 million,
Which
right?
is allocated.
I spoke to
Yeah.
Chairman Ellis, Chester Ellis, for the County Commission. He gave me a list of how much money we have collected over the 450 million that we requested. When I did my calculations, we have already received $91,540,627.15. When I met with you on Tuesday, you said that the state is 99.9% going to give us, what was it, 40 million? You're pretty sure that we're going to get that 40 million for
I'm very hopeful that we have a very competitive grant in the
but you
state.
said you pretty sure that we're going to get it. Those were your words, okay? So when you add that amount up, it's $131,540,627.15. Now, the minister said we could come up with another way to get the stormwater fee, to take care of our stormwater fee. I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, why would we ask our constituents to add, I don't care if it's $1 more on their bills, and then you talking about doing a hardship grant for our constituents that can't pay. We shouldn't have to do any of that when we're getting this kind of money. And then on top of that, this money goes into an interest-bearing account. What happens to that money? How much is the interest that is accrued on that money?
Well, Alderwoman, as I also told you in the meeting, the surplus money that you're referring to that's collected through SPLOST 7, this council has allocated and approved unanimously in the FY26
How can we allocate and
budget.
approve something that we don't even know how much we're getting?
Well, ma'am, I don't
looking at
know this, and we clearly.
One second, ma'am. Let him finish, please.
So I understand the line of questioning, but I want to make sure that I'm clear about how staff has handled the transparency of this issue. During our budget retreat and during our one-on-one meetings, Alderwoman, I specifically put the 6-year SPLOST 7 implementation allocation plan budget on the very last page of our budget book. So
I'm looking at it.
So it would be easy to refer. I also had staff shade the SPLOST 7 Tier 5, which you've called surplus funds, in a different color than all of the other revenue funds that were included in the other tiers, tiers 1 through 4, so that there was absolute transparency with what council was allocating in SPLOST 7 Tier 5 in the surplus. So certainly, council, as the approver of the annual budget, has the opportunity to say that one capital project takes priority over another. Absolutely. So if council would like to move or defund a capital project that is already approved to fund new capital projects and stormwater maintenance, that is absolutely council's purview to do. There is no and should not be any misinformation about any kind of unallocated pot of money or revenue from the city of Savannah. Every cent of revenue that the city of Savannah projects to earn and raise in 2026 has been accounted for and budgeted and adopted unanimously by city council, and that was done on December 11th, 2025, just a few weeks ago. The one thing that SPLOST cannot pay for, is operations. So we can absolutely, if it's council's will, reallocate unspent SPLOST 7 funds to other projects. But that means you have to defund the projects that you've already said were important and approved. What you can't do is take SPLOST funds and move to an operational budget, meaning you can't pay salaries, you can't pay contracts,
We know
et
all
cetera.
of that.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm making sure, because I want to make sure that I answer the question comprehensively, because I wouldn't want anybody to think there were anything other than total transparency and above board about this proposal that City Council has asked staff to develop, as well as the budget that City Council approved, again, unanimously in December. So it is absolutely council's purview to decide whether or not one project is a priority versus another. In terms of the state grant that we talked about, I don't bet on our ability to win state grants. I think the word that I used to you, I gave you an adage that my grandmother used to say, I don't count dinner until it's dead in the freezer. That's what my grandmother used to say.
And you also said 99.9%.
Well,
sure.
but what I want to make sure folks know is that we had a federal grant, a BRIC grant, for $30 million in federal funds for Carver Village, Cloverdale, and the expansion of the Springfield Canal. The federal government canceled those grants. We have been working feverishly to try to find a new opportunity to fund that work. And I'm very hopeful that we have found an avenue to fund that work to the benefit of the city and the residents in Carver Village, Cloverdale, and up and down the Springfield Canal. That's work that we want to make sure, and money we want to make sure we get back after the federal government pulled those grants away. I think the truth in this matter, where in other things, is I continually hear from council, staff hears from council that we want to see more things done with stormwater maintenance. We want to see more capital improvements done with stormwater maintenance. We also want to see more rec centers and more recreational amenities built and constructed. We want to see these services expanded. And we work very, very diligently to put together a budget that makes sense and is responsible and tries to meet all of those needs. As I said in kind of the preamble to this ordinance, right now we calculate more than $500 million worth of unfunded capital needs in our stormwater system. So there's, we're going to have to, I think this proposal says we haven't been able to chip away at the work that we need to do in the way that we've been funding those programs previously. We need to look for other avenues and availabilities that the states allow to see how we can get further on our goals. We also wanted to look through it from an equity lens, which is how do we make sure that the people who have the least pay the least, and the people who produce the most stormwater pay the most for that system, and this is what that system is designed to do. Now, we may disagree, or it may be true that it's not as it might not be as fair, as equitable as some people may want it to be, but we also have to work within the realms of a state-regulated system as well. And so that's where I just want to kind of point in a very clinical way. I think staff has done a really amazing job trying to turn over every rock to try to uncover new ways to solve this generational issue. But as it relates to the budget, there is not an untapped surplus of dollars. If council would like to defund a currently approved project and put more money to stormwater, that's absolutely in council's purview to do.
Have you spoken to the county, because they have a lot of funds allocated, according to the chairman, for stormwater drainage and repair? Has anybody communicated with them?
Yes, ma'am, we have, and they've benefited from the same SPLOST 7 Tier 5 overages as the city have. I don't know where they are in actually approving and allocating those surplus dollars as you've named them, but the city has taken that step, and we don't want to have any unspent, unallocated funds. We want to make sure that we are budgeting appropriately and have clean, wholesome, fulsome budgets. So we absolutely calculate every bit of revenue we project to collect, and council approves that budget as allocated. So I couldn't tell you where the county is in spending some of their unallocated SPLOST funds. I don't know that, but I'm proud that the city has, has taken those steps to fund its full allocation.
I would like to see how much our interest on this amount of money that I mentioned.
Certainly,
is
and we can provide that, and the interest is included in the allocation, right? So the interest doesn't also sit in another account. The interest accrues and becomes part of that total amount of money that's allocated. So
Say that again? The money that the county gives us, you're saying?
we receive a proportion of SPLOST funds.
Correct.
Yes.
More than any other municipality.
Absolutely. We're the
Right.
largest.
So, of course.
Yeah.
So, you just said that the interest money does what now?
The interest money, any interest
Sits in a-
it sits in the account with
Correct.
those SPLOST funds, right? We have to account for them differently than other funds, right?
Mhm.
Because they're voter directed. They have different strings attached to them. We have to have the right kind of accounting system around them. So yes, that money accrues interest just like money accrues interest in
Correct.
your savings
So
account.
I would like to see
And I can provide
all
that.
of that.
I can
Okay.
provide that, but what I want to make sure you understand and those that are listening understand is that even the interest is included in this page of the budget in the SPLOST 7 implementation allocation plan. Every cent, literal cent, that SPLOST has collected and we've received is allocated in this budget plan, as is any interest gained on those accounts.
Okay,
All right.
so 1985, that's when SPLOST started, right?
Correct.
1985, everybody was getting folk to vote, the powers that be were getting folk to go ahead and support SPLOST, giving all kind of promises that your community was going to get this, your streets were going to be paved, Bowles Ford Park was going to mirror Lake Mare. Come to find out, Bowles Ford Park looked the same way it did back in 1984. A lot of the streets in marginalized black communities still look the same. And just getting this information about the overage of SPLOST, there's no way I can support this. I will not be voting for it, and I hope that the constituents will pick up the phone, or have picked up the phone, and asked our other colleagues to not vote for it either. Find another way to utilize some other resources in our city coffers as opposed to asking our constituents to come out of their pockets. It's sad that you have to decide whether or not you're gonna buy medicine, buy food, if you're on a fixed income, or pay your water bill or your stormwater fee. We got the resources. I say it all the time, Mr. City Manager. This city operates on antebellum money. Let's find it and not go after our constituents for this.
Thank you. Let me just say for the record, first of all, Bowles Ford Park has never been on the SPLOST list. Never been on the SPLOST list. So there will be not money from, never been. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Ma'am, SPLOST, again, because it's important to make sure the facts are told here. SPLOST are voter referendums, which means the projects have to be listed and they have to be voted upon, just like we did. And we have, if you go to savannahga.gov/SPLOST, you can see everything that the city has paid for with SPLOST funds since SPLOST 1. The fire trucks that you heard going by here, some of them were paid for by SPLOST. From the Truman Parkway to buildings to all of these things to help improve equity to communities has been from SPLOST. So savannahga.gov/SPLOST. savannahga.gov. Whoa, you mean like the West Savannah? You mean like the new gym that they're playing in right now? No. If you're gonna talk about it, talk about all of it. Talk about the sidewalks. Talk about all of that. Talk about, yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But we're not talking about that now, so we're going now to Alderman Pertee. But you can go to savannahga.gov/SPLOST, and you can see everything that we have spent SPLOST on since 1985. Alderman Pertee.
It's not a speech, I promise. I just got to stand up. I've been sitting here long enough.
I'm like, you can stand up, okay?
Yeah, stand up, Kurt.
Give me some of those zingers, come on. So, you know, it's interesting. We talk a lot about equity, and we have some tough decisions to make as city council, and that's why we're up here. But when we talk about equity, oftentimes there are various places that are kind of left out because they're nonprofits or because they're not required to pay a tax.
Correct.
Or a fee at that point. And I can tell you that I've reached out to a lot of the churches in my area, and I've had some conversations with various pastors, and though many are on board, there are some that are worried, and rightfully so, and I understand that. I will tell you that a church that has a massive blacktop parking lot with little green space is probably going to pay more stormwater fee than Mount Hermon in District 6,
Correct.
Where there is no parking lot and there's a large green space, or Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, where there is no parking lot and lots of green space, or Nicholson Borough, historic Nicholson Borough Baptist Church in District 6 with no parking lot and green space. Or even we'll take one downtown at the corner of Henry and Waters. Asbury Memorial, large church, massive church, no parking lot, large green space. So those churches, Mr. Melder, will receive some sort of tax or credit, some sort of fee, credit for the fee, so they don't have to pay as much as maybe another church that has some of those other things I just spoke of. With what makes this interesting is oftentimes I come here to this chamber, and there's a lot of conversation, even outside of this chamber. What does SCAD do? What does SCAD do?
Mm-hmm.
How is SCAD involved? What is SCAD paying? Why aren't they paying this or that? They're not exempt from this.
That's correct.
This is a fee. It's not a tax, it's a fee. And the average household on the south side of Savannah, I can't speak for what's downtown, I can't speak for what's in Midtown, I can just speak for what's in my area. I sat in front of Wilshire Community last night, and we had this conversation, and it was well received, and I wasn't trying to sell them this idea that I think that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when we had this conversation, I stood up there and I said, my main focus in the city of Savannah is public safety. Always has been, always will be. Savannah should be a safe place where folks can go outside, walk down the street, go to the store, and not have to worry about getting shot at, or have to worry about their own safety or the safety of their kids or their relatives. Many of our city employees are not paid what they are worth. Many of our city employees are not paid what they're worth. Our sanitation crews, our police officers, our firefighters, our folks that work in the water department, every single one of these individuals deserve a raise. Every single one of them. Those are the frontline people that are there every single day, taking care of our trash on time, taking care of our streets, our buildings. And I cannot fathom the idea of not funding those places because we don't or can't decide to have that fee implemented. For an average household on the south side, it's between $4 and $5 a month. I'm not saying that's a lot. I'm not saying it's a little. I'm saying it's something that we can work with. $4 to $5 a month, $8 to $10 every 2 months, which is typically, I say typically, which is typically when the water bill or the utility bill goes out, which is another conversation we got to have about getting these things out on time. And then there's the talk of SPLOST. What does SPLOST do? When can we use SPLOST? We're good in the city of Savannah. We're awesome at building a lot of cool things. And that's what SPLOST is there for. But SPLOST is not there to maintain those things that we build. Correct. SPLOST is not there to maintain the roadways. It's not there to maintain the drainage. It's not there to maintain the community centers, to maintain personnel costs for a police department. it's buildings, it's initial infrastructure, capital improvement projects. We have no funding source, absolutely no funding source for stormwater and maintenance of stormwater. We have old, aging pipes and stormwater drains in the city of Savannah. In many of my areas on the south side, and some of you can recall in this room, as well as Dr. Shabazz, our shared areas were annexed years and years ago, back when there really wasn't the thought of stormwater in the county area. Much of Coffee Bluff, much of Windsor Forest, much of Wilshire, all that area was annexed into the city. And that infrastructure is old. And the infrastructure downtown is older than that. But how do we maintain it? Do we keep robbing Peter to pay Paul? Do we take away from programs that are successful? Or do we come up with a fee for residents that's between $4 and $5 on average for the household on the south side of Savannah? Because I'm going to tell you who's going to pay the majority of that fee. Your big warehouses.
That's right.
Your big shopping centers. I remember a year ago driving through Bradley Point in my district and watching families get torn apart because they had a flood in their area. And that was one of the worst disasters I had ever faced. 25 years in law enforcement, that is one of the worst disasters that I've ever faced because we didn't have a plan for it. How do we plan for that? How do we maintain that? And now, a year later, we're still dealing with it. Many of you might remember when the Savannah Mall district, we got a Savannah Mall district. It's old Savannah Mall, but it's a district. It'll be good again someday, I think. Or when the Oglethorpe Mall, when those areas flooded. Or what about downtown on Henry Street? Or what about Southside, and what about Midtown and Ardsley? Everywhere we look, we're a coastal city. We're a coastal city, and we can't always rely on SPLOST to dig us out of something, because at some point, SPLOST is going to be intended for something extra for us, right? Not for something that's necessary. I think the thing I'm going to close with when I say this is, it's often said, you know, what is this municipality doing? What is the county doing? What are we doing? Okay? And there's a lot of talk, and then there's some disagreement on between what the city is doing and what the county is doing. If folks are that concerned about it, look at what other counties are doing. Look what Macon-Bibb did. Look what Athens-Clarke did. Now, I'm going to say this and I'm going to sit down because it sort of ties it in, but it doesn't. But I'm keeping it short. 2 more minutes. But if you really want to dig deep and save the taxpayer money, combine the city and county. Come up with a unified county government. Because I'm going to tell you that's my plan, and that's where I'm going to push the next few years. Because what may not have worked years ago doesn't mean it doesn't work well today. Look at what other counties are doing and successfully. And look how much they've saved the taxpayer, and look how equitable it has become for the residents. When we relinquish power and control back to the folks in the community, everyone benefits. So think about that. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, our time is short. I want to go home someday. So I'm going to keep it brief. And, you know, I'm not above bringing some props to the show, right? Now, I will say I am upset genuinely. I love to joke around, but I am genuinely upset. I was never invited to any of these community meetings for the discussion. I think, one, a lot of people don't know that I exist. Maybe it's not the impact. And two, they know how I feel, and they might be afraid of what I'm going to say.
I won't invite either.
You know, because I get the calls, we all get the calls when we're in that cone of uncertainty, the amount of bargaining and prayer that we get to come and bail me out. I mean, they are talking straight to Jesus or Allah or anybody that's up there to do anything that we can, and by then it's too late. We have the choice. You can pay for infrastructure now, or you can pay for disaster later. You may not have lived it in your lifetime, but I have. I have driven down the streets that I grew up on, not able to recognize them anymore because of the impacts of a tropical system, because my city wouldn't invest. And I will not live with myself another single day knowing that we didn't do everything that we could to protect our city. The last time we had a direct tropical hit to our city was when all these famous live oak trees that we're so famous for were planted. Nobody in living memory has witnessed one. I don't care if it's Hurricane Floyd or however many, you know, they were all close calls. And you saw the impacts that we had. I know that we can do more. So let me tell you the fatal flaw of SPLOST. They will pay for new stuff, won't pay for the maintenance. Nope. The 4th District right now has a $40 million traffic calming measure that's operating in real time, and I love the maze that you have to go through to get around, but that $40 million gets you 3 streets. 3 streets, that's it. And it took 25 years in SPLOST collections to get there. Are we willing to bet another 25 years that we won't have the next storm? I'm not willing to. So I'll close it with this because y'all know how I feel, and I'm absolutely 110% in support because I want to put my head on my pillow tonight knowing I did everything I could to protect my city, that I was willing to lead and maybe even make an unpopular decision because I know it's going to leave the place better than I found it. But I picked up a souvenir along the way because I've worn a pipe. You know, I've been out there, I tried to grab some terracotta, and I went to my favorite new restaurant, the Laundry Diner, and I picked up a souvenir. Now, this was commandeered by Mrs. Palumbo. Kristen, I love you, but I love this thing. Look at this. This is Welcome to Lake Paulson over at the Laundry Diner, right? It's a tongue-in-cheek moment, right? But our constituents are trying to say something to us. Now, I love this shirt. You can't get it. I don't know if it's sold out. But they're saying, and this is right here in the street on Paulson Street, and he's out there in the boat, and he's having a good time, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, but they're saying something to us, guys. They're saying something, so we need to do more. We're not willing to wait. It's a fee. It's an F word. I get it. But it's an investment that I'm willing to make, that I'm going to make, and I know that our community needs to make as well. So I'm in support, and thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Shabazz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My comments will be brief because we have been talking about this over a year or so. So my comments from that time has been recorded, and today my comments, they're being recorded. I have, since we met in December, and when this item came to the agenda, we put it off, and the date certain was today for us to decide on what we were going to do. So between the time of the year's worth of excellent, and I say excellent outreach that was done, the excellent process, I should say, that was done by the city manager and staff, our professional engineer, Mr. Feldner, and his staff did. And, you know, my area is this, I consider myself a subject matter expert when it comes to stormwater drainage here on council and through several administrations on city council. So you heard my comments. They all recorded. Go back and take a look at it. So since it finally made it to the agenda, and over the past few weeks, I've had several meetings with individuals, person-to-persons, small group meetings, and also large group meetings. The last meeting I attended was over at St. Philip Monumental AME Church with representation of all of the faith leaders here in the city of Savannah. That was the last large group meeting that I was attentive to. On top of that, in all of the majority of the several person-to-person meetings that I've had since December to now, I've come to this decision that I will not be voting for the stormwater fee. In talking with the city manager, in which I talk with the city manager on a very, very, very regular basis, and he knows my thoughts about all of this. And it was said at the podium today by Pastor Osborne that, and I'm speaking the same way, is that maybe we can find a better way forward at this time, and in hearing the voices of my constituency and of several other people throughout the city of Savannah. I just cannot come up here with all of my expertise and everything else and have a tunnel vision. I must consider the hearts and minds and thoughts, pocketbooks and situations and lifestyles and qualities of life of the people in the city of Savannah. But if this 2026 revenue ordinance to establish a stormwater utility fee ordinance within the city of Savannah, Code of Ordinance, should pass, I will continue to work with our city manager and hoping that, and my colleagues on city council, so that we can come to some type of consensus to assist and help our community, not to be for those who will not be, it will be a burden, a heavy burden on them. So I will, if it should pass. So I just wanted to balance the scale with my voice and the seat in the space that I sit in reference to this item on the agenda, but today I will not be voting for it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderwoman Wallace.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I'm just going to read what I wanted to say, because to sit up here, you know, and in every district there's a flooding, every district. And so here we are, a year later, our staff, let me just read this. There are 159 counties. 70 of them are in line with this. Garden City's doing it. Hadn't had much of that information, but they're doing it, and they've had it for a while. We have a master plan. The strategy is to make sure our master plan is in tandem with what we need for our citizens. This city was built in 1733, and we're still thinking like 1733. This is a long time coming, a dedicated enterprise with a consistent revenue stream, and it's in parity with our master plan. We spent over $300 million pulling from everywhere to patch up this flooding. This new department is going to employ 17 additional workers. They'll have their own stream so that we don't have to continue patching up this city. We sit on a council where we're trying to create resolutions and solutions, and now we have a council of people, ministers, who did not give all the ministers the information that we've been working on for a year. So every day, somebody, when it rains, I happened to went to a church that was on Baker Street. It was 121 Baker Street. We could not even go to church some Sundays because it was flooded. And what did the city do? They bought it from, and now it's a park. But what I want to tell you, impress upon you, is we have to pay attention to these votes. All these people who gaslighting y'all saying that it can't work, at least we're here trying to do something to make it work. We have ministers, and thank y'all for coming, but y'all coming for stormwater, and that's good. But we got crime. We got an education system that sucks. We want y'all to work on that and come in front of us and tell us that in parity we need to make things work. Now, this plan right here that we have, yeah, it starts with an F. It starts with a fee. The stormwater fee is a solution that our staff have been working diligently on for over a year. And now everybody says they don't know what's going on with the stormwater fee. It's a crop. And if y'all listen to people, I'm telling you, I'm voting for it. Don't call me wherever you are in the city to complain about a stormwater solution that none of us can vote for to make it. Is it a good solution? Is it one that we can work on? Yes. But we have to do something. We're going to be able to take care of something, be proactive and not be reactive, because we got a maintenance plan, we can do inspections, and now to sit up here and saying, if it works and y'all don't vote for it, it just hurts my heart. It does. Because now when we're here to do better and do what our constituents are asking, we up here and say, well, I'm not going to vote for it, but if we vote for it and it passes, I'll work for it. We're up here to make hard choices. For me, it's not a hard choice. I'm celebrating everything that we can do that's going to make our constituents happy and not worry and call me 3 o'clock. I can't get, my car's flooded, I can't move. I live in a district where it's horrible sometimes. Y'all each live in a district. But you know what we do? We wait until the last minute, and we've been working on for years, to come and stand for us and complain. I've got to do better, y'all have got to do better, we've got to work together. But to not vote for something that's going to have a consistent stream so that we don't get these calls on what is supposed to be a part-time job, but I'm actually working harder than the job that I got paid for. Every day somebody is calling about something that we can avoid. And to sit here and not vote for it for whatever reason, it's alarming that we are not wanting to help the people that we say we are supposed to help. And when we get a chance to vote, we gaslight them. So yes, we got to do better. But Mr. City Manager, I have been talking to you and your staff since the pandemic about water services. Now that fee is going to be attached to water services, right? And so we have an opportunity to make sure that we take care of those people who are now paying $1,000 on a balance of water services. I have a balance. And so if we want to help our people in these churches, y'all get up there and talk about crime, talk about education system, talk about everything. And we can't cherry pick what we want to vote for and what we want to make this city move forward. To not vote for this, we have until July to make it work. But Mr. City Manager, you said something that was very interesting. I was reading, this water service enterprise started in 1947. Not only do we supply our own selves with water, we supply surrounding communities. And so with that being said, and you mentioned that with the stormwater, you would try to find a hardship for utilities. Please tell me why we can't find a hardship for the water services. I'm going to vote for this, but if you can find money, and they're both enterprises, I can't see why we can't help our constituents pay for their water bills that they've been paying for at least 3 or 4 years. And then on top of that, we're giving them administration fee. My question to you, we talked about it. If somebody has a contract with the city of Savannah in water services, why do we continue to make our residents, who some people don't get, especially our elderly, they get like $1,000, and now they're having to pay $600 and $700 on a water bill that they've been paying. They're never going to get out there if you keep increasing the $50 administration fee attached to their bill. So I'm just asking you, if the contract is legal and binding, and they're paying these bits and pieces, why are we still including the $50 administration fee? Hold on a minute. I understand if they don't pay, then they should be paying. But you've got people paying $50 quite a few times. And so I'm just saying, we got to move on this. We got to make sure that we're proactive instead of reactive. I'm so appreciative of the minister standing up here, but to not vote for this, I'm telling you, don't call me. Don't ask me to stand for this, because now we can pay for this. We can make this work. We can stand with the ministers to help take care of their parishioners and their citizens, but we can't stand up here and say, I'm not voting for this because it's not. Everything that we vote for, we have to tweak. We have the ability to, can we come back to you? Aren't we gonna kind of put this together so that at least 85 or 75% people are going to acknowledge that we did work to make this happen? Can we do that? Mr. City Manager, please answer all those questions, and I digress, but I'm just saying, I'm voting for it, and y'all remember those who did not. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderwoman. The hardship assistance that I referred to for utilities, I think can be shaped by council as well, but in my mind would be able to support all of the utilities that the city of Savannah is charged with providing its customers. Currently, those utilities are water and sewer. If the council were to adopt this ordinance, it would be a portion of our stormwater system that would also fall under that utility as well, which would be that assistance. We've worked with nonprofits in the past. I know I wasn't here through COVID, but I do know that there were some assistance given in COVID, and we're still working with customers through that time where we made a lot of allowances. And I think that's exactly why having public utilities, that's the benefit of a public utility, right? We also have private utilities that we pay, and rates go up all the time on private utilities without the same kind of eyes on it as we have here. So I think we can be thankful for that we do have some public utilities that the public is able to control and manage.
Mr. City Manager, one last thing. I've sat up here for about 5-6 years, and all of the things that we vote for, Mr. City Manager, I try to vote for things that are going to impact not only the 3rd district, but all of the districts, because everybody's calling to make sure that they get what they want. And today, people in Savannah are not getting what they want because we have a council, instead of us fighting together, we're all over the place fighting each other. It is my commitment this year to make sure that I stand in tandem to do the things that people want us to do for this city. And if that includes trying to make amends with the people I serve with, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to sit here and say that the things that we waited and fought for in all the districts for a year, and people trying to act like they don't know anything about it. That is what we talk about, Mr. City Manager, Assistant City Manager. We have to do a better job of informing the people in the community so they don't come in the day of, we can't really change it, or there's nothing that they wanted to include. But I know that we did it in every district and we were able to talk about it. We're doing ourselves a disservice if we don't know what's going on in our community. And I charge the pastors in y'all big churches and small churches to talk about everything, and don't wait until it affects y'all. Everything should be affecting y'all, every last thing. And if y'all mad, pray for me, because I'm going to still be Linda. I'm going to stand on the truth, and if it hurts anybody, I'd rather for it to hurt me than the people who voted for me and elected for me to do the things that we said. There are no hard choices for me. It's only the right thing to do. Thank you so much for your time, your efforts, your energy. Thank you for everybody who showed up. But show up with that vote. Stop talking about what you're going to do after the vote. There's nothing you can do after the vote. You got to do it before the vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. City Manager and staff. You see rates go up, but service should also go up too.
That's right.
Some people will go eat at a restaurant, the food can be nasty, but the service is good. And I say that because the saying in the city of Savannah is, this is 8 fluid ounces. And the little funny saying in Savannah is, you throw 1 cup of water out the window, you'll flood the whole city. But as a little boy, it used to be a Kmart on Wallen Drive, is now a Home Depot. It flooded so bad in there one time, I caught a fish just swimming on the floor. But that was during the time, and that was in the 80s. My mother took me to the Kmart, but we haven't improved in our drainage since then. And we haven't paid into our drainage, and we haven't put as much emphasis on drainage and how we're going to address it in this city for the past almost 30 years. But, people move into the district in which I serve, the 2nd district, and they say it's a beautiful historic district, but the one thing that they fail to realize is that they move into lakefront property. regardless of where you live at in the 2nd District, when it rains at high tide, and I know we can't do anything with that, we live below sea level, that the water rise, and where it rise, it flood at a rate where people are losing property, they're losing cars, they're losing their homes, because even after the rain subsides, they have an issue with mold. So we have to find a way, and we have to be unique about how we service our community. We have to do a lot more than just say we're going to do a lot for a little bit of people, but we really going to have to invest in ourselves. Some of these moves that we make up here, they are challenging, and we have to make these decisions on behalf of the community. A lot of it hurt. Some of us who have children that are in college, and if you haven't prepared for your kids to go to college, making that sacrifice, sometimes it hurt. But it's for the better of your children as they move forward. But we have to be better stewards of the people's money also. But when we ask our residents to go down to our water department, or they getting information about their water bill, they have to get some stuff that's really going to impact them and really going to be helpful to them. But it's our customer service. If you're telling the community that we're going to give you a fee, you have to make sure that that fee is accurate. I want to make sure that the information that we're giving them is going to be the information that they can go back home and they can budget off of. But when they finally get the bill and the bill does not reflect what we've been telling them, we might have to eat that, because we've given them a guarantee of bills and what the bills can look like and how can they budget. We have churches and we have large institutions who have to make big budget decisions. And as they make those budget decisions, they have to put money and set money aside. Just as we are setting money aside to address a lot of the issues, they have to do the same thing. But we have to be truthful as far as putting the correct information out there, and it has to reflect what's going out and what's coming in. If we're going to charge a certain amount, that amount have to reflect each and every time, so that that budget amount can actually be utilized within those entities. But if we don't do that, then we're going to continue to have customer service calls, and there'll be a lot of people calling in saying that does not look like or does not sound like what you told me at the beginning of the conversation of billing. So when we talk about fees and we're talking about moving forward and changing how we're going to get water off of this city, it's going to be challenging. And when we make this vote, we're going to have to make a vote knowing that it's not going to be for us. This vote is going to impact 10 to 50 years down the line, and how Savannah is going to bounce back from it. Some of us may think that we're going to sit up here and this is a political move, but this is a move that we need to make right now that's going to impact us as a city, and we make long-term plans, and our plans are moving forward. And I have to think about it being the chairman of Chatham Area Transit, how we're going to move a lot of people all around this city, because if we can't move them because it's flooded, then that's going to be a hardship on us in transit. If we can't get to the people when they are having medical issues, that's going to be a hardship on us, because we can't do it as first responders. The only thing I'm just saying is we have to make a decision, and when we make this decision, don't make it on feelings, make it on logic. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir, thank you. I know everyone's glad, down to the purse. So this decision, this preponderance of a stormwater drainage fee was difficult for me. It was hard for me. Out of all the issues that we have to consider, I spent a lot of time on this. This came to us quite some time ago, and when it was first introduced to us, my first response, the unconscious response, just that impulse would say, oh no, why in the world how am I going to convince low-wealth people, marginalized, underserved people to vote themselves or a fee when they haven't been receiving the services on a regular basis? How do you convince people to, if I put more money in, maybe this time we'll get the ditch cleaned, maybe this time we'll get the pipe, the ditch closed in, maybe this time. So that was difficult, but that was my first response. That was the impulse. But I had to switch up a lot of hats in considering this measure. So the public administrator, the public works person came up, and I understand we do need a designated fund to handle the maintenance issues and the growing concerns with our system. Now, so I had to consider, I looked at pros and cons. The other night I'm sitting there with some paper and a big board in my office, and there are pros and cons, cost benefits, just looking at this thing because we need to make the right decision here. But I need to make the decision that's going to be the best decision for the people that I serve. In this activity and going to neighborhood association meetings and going throughout the communities the last couple of months, I'm talking to people. I think I've spoken to more people on this issue than many of the other issues. And that was by design. I needed to hear from a whole lot of people. I heard from all of my used to be straight A friends, and they're, okay, we need that fee, and let's get it. And then people who are every day trying to just pay the bills and trying to pay that water bill, no. In the end, not having a scientific count, there were more no's than yeses. So I had to look a little further because we got to have some type of fee or some type of fund in order to take care of these problems, because these drainage problems are probably more prevalent in my area than most areas. The whole Savannah floods, yes, but when you have been historically underserved, neglected in your communities, it hit a certain kind of way, especially when those areas were old rice plantations, because guess what? One time flooding was a good thing over there, and that's why you see all the canals and the ditches and everything, and so, but now that we're neighborhoods, it's not such a good thing. When the children of the area in my childhood, we were glad when it flooded because we got a chance to swim on Bay Street by your grandmama's place. So we look forward, on Baker Street, we got a chance to swim, yes ma'am. Now, that problem has been somewhat limited with the funding that has been in our general fund and in the budget, because we had to look at that area like an equity project in itself, because people were floating out of their homes. We've used that word a lot here today, equity, and every time it hit me some kind of way, because we're saying it, but I'm not seeing it. Now, let's keep saying it. I'm not saying, let's keep saying it, because one of these days we're going to get it, and we're going to be able to understand it and employ it. But we're working on it, and that's a good thing. But a drainage fee, in essence, is inequitable. A stormwater drainage fee is inequitable in essence, because it's a fee, just like any other tax, and even like the SPLOST, is regressive, because low-wealth people pay more of a percentage of their income into these things than anybody else, and that's what regression is all about. In the first district, I have 3 distinct income areas, and I'm sure the people over here right across the river, if y'all look out that window on Hutchinson Island, they don't care anything about that. Yeah, let's pay the fee because we know we're going to flood over here on this island, and it's no big deal because I think the average income over there was $80,000 or something or above. And then you have the Highlands, who's about half that. It was 3 distinct, but that's sort of middle class, fastly becoming, based on the school numbers with the children, maybe low income. And then you have Greater West Savannah, where probably most of the constituents live, and most of the low wealth people. But Savannah has a large impoverished number, and that's why we're having this struggle here, because the people who deal with these people every day, we find it very difficult to charge a fee onto this population. Now, I'm always looking for a win-win, some type of win-win situation. So in the last couple of weeks, there's been a groundswell of attention and interest on this. Okay, we've been talking about this over a year, but in the last couple of weeks, people are really horning in on this thing because they're thinking about their pockets. And so it's been a groundswell, and that's to be expected. And so we've been talking to a whole lot of people. A lot of people have been contacting us, but I have, right now, have to lean towards the least of these. Let's look at some solutions, because I just didn't want to come here today and say, no, 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 let's not do that. It's going to hurt the poor people more, which it would. But what can we do? So in the last week, I'm looking around for some best practices in other places, and I'm questioning, have we done all we can do before we result into a fee? Have we employed all of the resources we could employ prior to going to the fee? And I found out some things that some people were doing that I was a little bit amazed. First, let's talk about the SPLOST. These are other potential funding sources. No, we have not done well with the SPLOST that was created in 1985, and the intent of that was for infrastructure, drainage, the problems we had. We had so much drainage problems, even back then they decided to create a SPLOST for that purpose. So we're creating another funding mechanism that we go to the people for the same purpose. We got away from the original intent of infrastructure and drainage, and we started concentrating, I think, a little bit too much on capital items before we solved the issues. They may have been solved in some areas, but not in the areas where I serve. And so we're spending money on taking down highways and building arenas and building gyms, all things that are good projects, but we're using that infrastructure drainage money to do it. And so I'm going to recommend that the next SPLOST, we go to the legislation, let's go back to the original intent. Let's go back to making sure we got that money there. That's what it was created for, to take care of these issues. And had we done that, then we probably wouldn't be doing this proposing this fee. And there were some people doing equity projects. There were some people doing, through HUD, the Community Development Block Grants, through CDBG, doing some things where they have certain monies that are relegated for historically underinvested in areas. And I know staff has done a better job of doing more towards looking at these grants. They did great by securing the BRIC grant that we lost, unfortunately, but that was a good opportunity, and that was a good exercise for staff. The U.S. Department of Transportation have some monies. Their legacy infrastructure failures exist, and I don't know if we have looked into that, where legacy infrastructure failures, and we have to acknowledge that we have legacy infrastructure failures. And then they got some for areas that have been impacted by environmental problems. In West Savannah, proximity to the port, it creates an opportunity for some type of shared benefit project. I said, people are doing that? They're doing that in California? They're not even thinking about doing that here, but that's something we could think about. There's an environmental justice investment fund to take care of these type areas and these type projects. There are some things out there, I'm saying, what? They got a best practice where historical neglected drainage and flood control can get money through this City of Savannah Environmental Justice Trust Fund. We could have done that. So there are a lot of things that maybe we could not have. Maybe they may not have been a good fit for Savannah, but we haven't had this, I haven't had this discussion, and right now I'm being asked to vote for this fee, and then there's a Georgia Municipal Resilient Stormwater Bond. What? There's such a thing? Yes, these things are out there. So I'm thinking Savannah should adopt some type of multi-source funding strategy where we start with SPLOST and rolling that back and redirecting that for infrastructure. Look at these federal resilience funds, public-private collaborations. They're doing some things in California with that. West Savannah Drainage and Resilience Fund. And this approach, it aligns with fiscal responsibility, with moral responsibility, especially in areas that have traditionally been shaped by labor and land use and systemic exclusion, dating all the way back to when these areas were rice plantations. So I, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to lean towards the least of these. That's all I got.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try to be briefer, but I feel myself taking on a couple of roles, not only as a public administrator and a historian, a member of our faith community, and then finally a truth teller. I think some education here is extremely important. And I've said before, and the city manager spoke about the necessity of the three pipes. You have water, and you have sewer, and you have stormwater. And we have ways of dealing with water, and we're growing in the water space. We're growing in the sewer space, not so much in the stormwater space. Also, it's important to know and understand that there are really two ways that cities raise revenue, one way or the other. You do it through taxes, or you do it through fees. That's it. We do it through a millage, which goes to non-exempt property owners, or we do it through fees that are based on usage. And I think that's important as we go through this. It's also important now to move to the history of this, because this didn't just happen yesterday. It was 2024. November, it was actually earlier than that. 2020, when we took office, and we had our first strategic planning sessions. And all the things we put on here, the number one issue for all of us that we were hearing was about dealing with storm water, dealing with flooding. 2024, it was the same thing. When we did our strategic plan, it was the same thing. And we asked our residents, and the residents said the same thing. So we were all on the same sheet of music. Ms. Glenda, your neighborhood said the same thing in the 5th District. Same thing, flooding, stormwater. And so we asked our staff to go back and study it. And they did that for well over a year, 15, 16 months, they were doing it. December the 19th, let's go back, end of November, in the budget session, we actually had our first reading on creating the Stormwater Utility Enterprise Fund Ordinance. We were talking about that in November of 2024. Council unanimously approved this utility fund in December of 2024, unanimously. And the city manager kept coming back to us. And we unanimously, every single one of us, go back, find the best way, turn every stone, look at best practices, see what can be done, and staff did exactly what we asked them to do. And we didn't want to rush it because we wanted to get it right. They came back to us and we said, you know what? We got to have public input. So we'll put together a focus group or an advisory group, and every single member of this council nominated a member of this community that gave of their time and gave of their energy and gave of their effort to make sure we got it right. Feedback, messaging, service delivery, and reaching consensus. Then we had 17 public meetings between November of 2024 and just this week. 17 public meetings about this because we wanted to make sure that we were not hiding this, and we wanted to make sure people knew and people understood, and every district council member hosted one of those public meetings. And I went to a couple, and it was the same thing. We're explaining to people and having them to understand where we were and why we were and what was the best way for us to address these needs. Because annually, between 2020 and 2025, every single year, this city manager and his predecessors were hearing the same thing, and even more lately, they wanted more ditches cleaned, you wanted more vac trucks, and we need the personnel to be able to do that. And we wanted to do that in a way that those places that did not receive the services were able to receive the services. Staff came back. This is the way. Unanimously, council again, yes, this is it. Here we are. You know, this is the way to be able to go. And we showed how it could be equitable. This council reduced our millage rate, and y'all must seem to forgot that. There are other municipalities in this region that raised theirs. We reduced ours in July, partly because we anticipated this was to come, and we wanted to provide relief for our property owners. And so we reduced this. Well, there was still questions in December, it's all right. And the city manager tell you, I said, we'll take it off the agenda, we'll put some more time, and we'll have more meetings. And we had more meetings. Some I was invited to, and some I wasn't. And some I just showed up. Because we wanted to make sure that we're very, very clear about where we were and why we were doing this. So the question came up, and I asked the questions again. Is there any other way? Well, some people say SPLOST. SPLOST cannot be used for operations. It cannot be used for maintenance. So we can say SPLOST all day long, but if it cannot be used, it cannot be used. SPLOST is surplus is still SPLOST. It cannot be used. Now, to Alderwoman Lanier's point, and I agree with her, if it requires us, there had to be a state law change for SPLOST to be used statewide, specifically for drainage and roads, then let's do that. But SPLOST is very clear about the things and the categories it can be used for. It cannot be used for personnel. It cannot be used for maintenance. So that doesn't work. Well, what about other budgeted funds? Because folks think that the city of Savannah, we just have money sitting around somewhere that Jay goes into a big room with gold in it and just pulls money out. Well, no. We have to budget, and we're blessed in this, is that the city of Savannah has a balanced budget. Expenditures meet income, right, sir? So that means everything is accounted for. Well, we cannot do this. And y'all gonna start hollering again when it starts raining and you gotta do something, you gotta do something, you gotta do something about this, and we're gonna do this all over again. And the reality is nothing improves until we make a significant, sustained investment in our stormwater. So this is part of the work being up here, making hard decisions. But the elephant in the room is this, and I want to make sure that we're really clear about this. Taxes, some people pay. Fees, everybody pays. Let's be clear about that. Because if we say we'll just fund it by the millage, we'll go back, we raise the millage back, and we'll fund it that way. All right. Well, only non-exempt taxpayers pay for the millage. I'm sorry, non-exempt taxpayers pay the millage. That's the truth, correct? On the fee side is this: everybody pays. Y'all complain about SCAD? All SCAD's 100 non-exempt exempt properties will pay this fee. All of these tax abatement warehouses that receive these variances from everybody, they pay too. And my calculations, they're correct. $8 million or so a year, $8 million. All right, y'all have choices, council. If we go with the fee, our residents pay about $2 million of that $8 million. Am I right? If we go with the tax, our residents pay $8 million of the $8 million. So I don't want to pay no freaking fees either. I don't. And do I like it? Absolutely not. But the reality is that we cannot continue to kick the can down the road and hope and pray things are going to get better, and they don't, and they won't, and things will never change. And I will tell you this, and Nick will probably elaborate more on me, as our climate continues to get hotter and wetter, our day is going to come, and we have to be prepared. So I'll end this with some inspiration from Dr. King, that cowardice asked the question, is it safe? Expediency asked the question, is it politic? Vanity asked the question, is it popular? But conscience asked the question, is it right? Hello. And it comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must take it because it is right. Ladies and gentlemen, what is your motion concerning this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move to adopt stormwater fee.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. We're going to the board. All in favor, vote.
Definitely enough.
Alderwoman Lanier? All right, motion passes 2-4, it says 5-4. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next item. Mr. Manager, let me commend you, Ron Fellner, and your entire team. Everybody may not appreciate your work, but I appreciate your work because you did exactly what this council asked you to do. And y'all bust y'all behinds for now over a year to get us to this point. And I want you to know, for me, I can't speak for nobody else, but y'all did exactly what this council asked you to do. And
Mayor
so,
Johnson.
thank you very much. We're moving on, ma'am. Ma'am, we're
I
moving
just
on.
need to make a comment.
No,
You
well,
stated that
well,
the
ma'am,
surplus money
ma'am.
could not be used for anything.
No, ma'am, I did not say that. Surplus money
Could not be used for,
cannot be used for maintenance.
right, but it can be used for this. It can be
Mr.
used for the storm.
Mr. Melder,
According to,
Mr. Melder.
Surplus loss
Beanie, we got-
can be
Listen.
used for capital projects, including capital stormwater projects.
Can it be used for maintenance or operations?
No, sir.
Why cannot be used for maintenance or
Loss
operations?
is only for capital expenditures.
Who says?
The state,
The state who?
state of
what
Georgia.
can it
Thank
be
you.
used for? What can it be used for? Because the person who I talked to is very well versed
All
on
right.
surplus money.
Okay.
Said we can't.
Let me help you. I don't know who you're talking to. Mr. Attorney?
So surplus funds are SPLOST funds. They're no different than the first penny collected. The last penny is the same as the first. It can be used for capital projects, not for maintenance, not for operations, those types of things.
Are you an attorney here in Georgia? How long you been an attorney, sir?
Y'all passed it.
All right, thank you very much.
I just hope
Moving
that
on.
people remember.
I hope they do. I hope they write it down and take a picture. So now we're moving on
Communities that
to
never got-
purchasing items. Items number 24 through 28. Alderman Palumbo.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, move to approve items number 24 through 28 is written on the agenda.
Properly moved and seconded that we approve item, and Ms. Jones, thank you. Help is coming to Liberty City. Authorize city manager to execute contract modification number 1 of the awarded primary vendor for Section A, concrete work, and the secondary vendor for Section B, brickwork of sidewalk, curb, and cobblestone repair contract. Item number 25, authorize city manager to execute contract modification number 2 for illegal dump clearing with Sam J. Services in the amount not to exceed $115,000. Item number 26, authorize the city manager to award a construction contract to Dabbs Williams Contractors LLC for the construction of a new columbarium at Greenwich Cemetery in the amount of $1,327,544. Item number 27, authorize city manager to execute a construction contract with Lynn Construction Company for roof and lighting repairs at the Southside Fleet Maintenance Facility, Shop 1, located 6900 Sally Moore Drive in the amount of $294,909. And item number 28, authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Metro Elevator for the modernization of the City Hall elevator, thank God, in an amount of $1 million. You've heard the motion. All in favor indicate, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 35, approval of a water and sewer agreement with Cowan Industrial LLC for Hill Durance Townhomes in the amount not to exceed $614,800 in the Automatic District 5.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to adopt the agenda item as written.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item settlements 36, 37, and 38. Alderwoman Shabazz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For item number 36, I move to authorize the Attorney's Office to settle the claim of Renard Bird in the amount of $78,732.50. Item number 37, I move to authorize the City Attorney's Office to settle the claim of Michelle Dukes in the amount of $225,000. And item number 38, I move to authorize the City Attorney's Office to settle the claim of Brandon Moore for $42,500.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Probably moved and seconded that we move to authorize the City Attorney's Office to settle the claim of Reynard Bird for $78,732.50. Item number 37, to authorize the City Attorney's Office to settle the claim of Michelle Dukes for $225,000. And item number 38, move to authorize the City Attorney's Office to settle a claim of Brandon Moore for $42,500. You've heard the motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 39 is authorize city manager to approve a major subdivision, the Pines in New Hampstead, Phase 5A in Automatic District 5.
And 40.
And 40 is a major subdivision, New Hampstead, Edgewater, Phase 2.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
On both items, I move to adopt the agenda items as written.
Second the motion.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That ends our agenda. Are there any announcements? Let me just, go ahead, sir.
Quickly. I just say, I do have some really quickly, though.
Go ahead.
Okay, for all of the public who has members who use CAT, Chatham Area Transit Mobility Public Meetings will be January 29th and January the 30th. Locations at CAT Central, that's 900 East Gwinnett Street. You can also see it on Facebook Live from 1 to 2:15 p.m. Meeting times, midday 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Evening sessions from 6 p.m. to 7:15. CAT Mobility invites riders, caregivers, and community members to attend a public meeting focused on paratransit service and join us to share the feedback, questions, and learn more about the current and upcoming improvement at Chatham Area Transit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, I want to lift up the family of Mr. Lewis Hall in Coffee Bluff. His mother, Miss Emma Jean Hall, passed away.
Ah.
And they had her services last week at the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, and she's been buried at Cedar Grove Cemetery on the south side. So we pray for that family, and may her memory be a blessing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
We want to make sure that we acknowledge, we got those lawnmowers for the kids. It's a win-win for the elderly people, and they get to get a community service. We want to also pray for Jamonte Green. He was one of the victims in the car wreck, and also for our good friend, I can't think of her name right, Miss Angela. Yes, we lost Angela.
Angela Duncan. Yes.
Right, and so February is a love month in the 3rd District. On February 11th, we have the King and Queen contest at the park, and on the 15th, we have it at the veranda. Pray my strength so that we can stay healthy to do God's work. Amen.
Thank you. Watch God be God, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, coming up next week, slip back to the summer of '59, where love, laughter, and rock and roll shimmer beneath the neon glow of Rydell High. Burst in with Summer Nights, You're the One That I Want, and Greased Lightning at the Savannah Arts Academy production. We're asking the community to come out and support our school system with the production of Grease, happening Thursday, January 29th through February 1st, featuring a cameo from our school board president as Teen Angel, Roger.
Oh, I thought he was going to be I thought he was going to be Danny Zuko.
No, not yet. Don't have the hair for that anymore. But please come out and support the community, and all proceeds go to support performing arts in our community. So.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Let me just say yes.
We had, just want to pray for the young people in this community. I'm getting calls about an incident on Capitol Street. We lost somebody else. Y'all pray for what's going on.
Yeah, I was going to lift up, thank you, that while we were in this meeting, we were advised that there was an officer-involved shooting at the JW Marriott outside of that property, just a couple of hundred yards from here. No officers were injured during the incident, so I want to thank Savannah Police and our partner agencies. for their immediate response. As many know, we don't investigate ourselves, so when we have issues involving use of force with our officers, the GBI or an outside agency investigates that. So I believe any further responses regarding the incident will come from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation or whoever's the primary investigating agency. So, yes, ma'am.
I do have an announcement. I want to thank the City of Savannah, the police chief, and the police department, city manager, Daphne Williams, and all of you all that made Martin Luther King Day on Bull Street a success. I want to tell you all thank you so much. It's going to be bigger and better next year. We are planning a meeting on the 30th of this month to discuss it, to make sure that everything is in place for next year. So again, I want to tell you all, thank you all so much for your assistance.
Thank you. Now, let me add to that. We had a wonderful dedication of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center, which is now named, and Mr. Manager, we have to make sure all of our signage within our websites and all of that say that, Mr. Manager, thank you. Midori Carpenter for your team, our Civic Center team, our police and fire teams, all of the folks. It was really a good way to usher in that new name on our building, and certainly it will usher now the changes we will see. Some we won't see at first, but ultimately we'll see in the deconstruction, I think you said, of the former now Martin Luther King Jr. Arena. So thank you, and thank council. We had, I think, all of council to come. I think that's very, very important, so we appreciate all of you being there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes it. I want you to know that there are some weather advisories that we might have to put out over the next couple of days. But thank you all. Be safe. We're adjourned.